Welcome back to Generations Behind episode 10, right? This is 10. This is episode 10. Very exciting. I am one of your hosts, Craig of Craig's Game Room. To the side of me, the beautiful, the daring, Mr. Zach Daily Beating. How are you today, Zach?
Daring, huh? I like that. I'm gonna start going with that. The daring daily beating. I like it. I'm doing great. Thanks
Rolls
for
off the
asking. How are you
tongue.
doing? Yeah.
Tyler, below us, Mr. Tyler Haight, the luscious one. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, and ready to talk about my favorite GameCube games. It was a little, I don't know. I thought I had my list set in stone. It's still the same. Craig kind of confused me a little bit before this podcast. I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should change some things. I'm like, nah, I'm sticking with it. Ready to talk all about it.
Yes, I'm very high energy today, if you can't tell. Partly, one, because we're talking about GameCube games, and I'm very excited, and also partly because I got a little heated earlier. I went through the McDonald's drive-thru on the way home because I needed to eat before the show. They forgot my fucking French fries, and I'm just really upset about it. But it's like,
That's on you. If you're leaving that drive-thru with extra fries in hand already, that's on you.
So I even checked. I did the bag check because you have to. I ordered extra sauce. You know, McDonald's makes you pay for it because everything in McDonald's tastes better if you drench it in their buffalo sauce. Sounds weird. Promise I tried. Even the burgers. So you got to do that. But you know, I check and I'm like, okay, you do the quick look. You're like, all right, I see the sauces that are extra I paid for. I see they got the little stickers on my sandwiches because I'm a picky eater and I'm a little bitch and I don't want any of that ketchup or shit on my burgers. And then I see the nuggets and I'm like, oh, okay, everything seems to be in the clear. So I go to grab my nuggets and my fries because those have to go first. You know, you put the fry in the other side of the nugget tin and you have a little bit of harmony. And I go to reach for the fries and, you know, you do your hands reach in the bottom of the bag. You're like, oh no! And I didn't. So it was just, you know, false hope in my local McDonald's. Unfortunately, they let me down this time. I'm now going to have to boycott McDonald's for all eternity.
All I'm saying is that if you make it home with fries still in the bag, you're a stronger man than me. I'm so bad about just eating the fries on the way home and then they're gone when I get there.
I didn't even have the option. I didn't have the option to be strong. I wasn't given the opportunity. The gods were against me today, and I'm still a little upset about it. Everything else, though, you know what? Every once in a while, you get those really fresh nugs, and they were really, really fresh nugs. So I was just in a good mood.
So it was all worth it.
Yeah, you know, it ended up evening out. So I'm just mad because, you know, it was only a small fry, but that's all I wanted, just a little bit, and I couldn't even have that. So
real quick, small rant. You've been to Wendy's lately? You see how they're doing like saucy nuggets, sauce nugs?
I've seen that. DJ Khaled came up on my TikTok For You page advertising them. That's why I know.
So, the one day I was out game hunting, and then we stopped at a Wendy's to use the bathroom, and I was like, you know, I'm going to try some of these. I got like a 4-piece or something like that. Dude, there's like barely any sauce in there. It's like they took 4 nuggets, opened like one sauce packet, poured half of it in there, and they're like, bam, here you go. And I was like, what is this? Like,
I bet that's what it actually is, too. It's probably just their sauce that they have in the little packets, and they just drizzle it over.
There you go. But they didn't even shake it up. They just, there you go.
But shout out to Wendy's.
Better Wendy's.
I love a Baconator more than I would ever want to truly admit to anybody else. So shout out to my girl Wendy. She's keeping the fast food game strong for us. GameCube, my favorite console of all time, so I'm very excited to talk about that with you guys. My top 5, pretty easy to come up with. We asked you all to write in to tell us your favorite GameCube games. Many of you wrote in. We really appreciate the audience participation, so thank you all for writing in and sharing. Yes, thank you for sharing everything with us. We have a couple of write-ins from the audience to start off the show. Jonathan wrote in, and he said, is there any plans of doing a Fallout New Vegas episode? Based off of the parameters of our show, maybe in a few years. You know, I've said before, I think you could argue some early PS3 360 you can put in the retro category, but I think I could speak first when we all said colloquially, like Xbox, PS2, GameCube down is kind of our focus, right, boys?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like Fallout New Vegas, I feel like it probably feels pretty similar to Fallout 4, all things considering, and I would be hard-pressed to anything PS4 generation to say is a retro game, so I feel like there's a lot of like stagnation there in those like the end PS3, Xbox 360 to PS4. I feel like all those games kind of feel like what we have today, just a little muddier.
Yeah, they started to really just figure things out by then, kind of like standardized control schemes and different things like that. Maybe not Bethesda, but in general for gaming. So,
Yep, yep.
what do you say about Fallout New Vegas, Tyler? Do you think the show will go on long enough for us to talk about it? Like it's a 20-year-old game.
Will the show go on long enough? Yes, baby. Because what did we say in the beginning? We're going to 100. We're gonna make it to 100. We are 1/10 of the
That's
way
like
there.
it's not that far away.
It's
It's
actually
not.
pretty far away because we're bi-weekly, so that's like
Yeah,
over 4 years.
yeah.
Okay,
That's
maybe
4 years.
Maybe
So,
so.
Jonathan, you hear me right now? Put it down. Episode 100. Now that really wouldn't work. That really wouldn't work because we're doing every 3.
So
So
episode
episode
999.
Episode 99. If we make it, keep supporting us, which I know you will, and we will do a Fallout New Vegas maybe soon. I don't know. I do want to delve into the Fallout games, but
Mhm.
like Craig said, we kind of set the parameters. We'll see where it goes, And we're
You should
already
do what I
booked on
did.
video games until October.
I was gonna say
So
you should play Fallout 1 like I did earlier this year. That was an excellent experience, and that falls
yeah,
within our parameters for sure because that was 1997. Excellent, excellent video game. Hector wrote in. He said, "Can you ask Tyler when he will get Pokemon Box?" I'm just assuming Hector's been giving you shit for this.
no, he hasn't been giving me. Well, no, not really. He I kind of known it was never gonna happen, and because it never happened, he's like, oh, one day I'm gonna make it in the wrestling ring. I'm gonna make it to the E, and I'm gonna become a wrestler. I'm gonna be Triple H's best friend, and I'm gonna buy you a Pokemon box. It didn't necessarily go like that, but that's how I'm gonna put it. And you heard it here, so that's how it went down. He's gonna lay the smack down, get enough money, and get me that Pokemon box. So Hector, you need to get back in that ring and start training so you can get me a Pokemon box, sir. I need to be like Craig's game room and have one. Well, he got the outer box, but
Yeah, I
I
just have the
need
outer
a
box.
complete copy, big box and all. I am waiting. You know where I live.
Japanese copy for $60, like I did.
Yes. So I love
USPSC copy. You heard it here. Okay.
I love how I just have the most like degenerate version of Pokemon Box. I have the outer box, I have the memory card, and I have the stickers for the memory card and the cable that came with it. But I don't have the
That is
game,
pretty.
which is
You got the
absolutely
most
wild.
beautiful.
expensive version of a non-CIB Pokemon box.
I know, I could sell that and probably buy 2 Pokemon boxes. That's the best part. But I think it's way funnier to just have the outer box. Alright, Patrick wrote in saying only if it's turn-based. That's all he had to say. Some can argue that a podcast is turn-based because we do our best.
Just gonna
Well,
say that.
I beat you to the joke. I was gonna say, you could say it is, but we interrupt each other a lot, so it's not totally turn-based, but that's just
Fair
the
enough.
way conversations
Some-
go.
Some of these GameCube games in my pile are indeed turn-based, so you're in
Whoa.
for a good one, sir. Jason, keep your pants on.
Whoa.
Alright.
Jason's getting a little excited out there, I'm sure.
Jason likes turn-based.
Yeah, so if you were joining us for the first time, we did an
I'm
episode
sorry.
similar. What?
If you joined the first time, I'm sorry.
You're like, what the hell is this show?
I
So,
think this is a great opening so far. We're doing great, guys. Killing it.
so we did an episode. I believe it would have been 3 episodes ago about our favorite N64 games. And the way that we do was kind of make a little game out of it. We do a point system, kind of like Mario Kart style points, like Zach pointed out. So if we have a game in our first place spot, it gets 5 points. In our second place spot, it gets 4th, and so on and so forth. So we're going to rank our games at the end to give you all the definitive ranking of the best GameCube games of all time. We are the experts. Nobody else is allowed to have any word on this except for us, because those are the rules. Unfortunately, we've been put in charge of this monumental task of naming the best GameCube games, and I was going to say, I hope we don't let you down, but you don't have a choice because we're just right. You just have to accept fact as fact. Water is
How it
wet.
is.
That is how it
Exactly.
goes. So, before we get into our favorite GameCube games, why don't we go ahead and talk about what we've been playing? Tyler, why don't you go first? What have you been playing lately?
Me?
Yeah, you.
All right. What have I been playing? So, I went and picked this bad boy up right here. W2K24. One day Hector will be in these games. And been having fun with. I didn't I did one match on this game, and the rest I did was there's like a big community creation type thing, and you could just download characters that people made, and like nowadays, some of them look pretty good. So I did a whole 30-man Royal Rumble. I had like Jay-Z in there, I had like Tupac, 50 Cent, Grimace, Ronald McDonald.
Grimace, let's
Um,
go.
Your
I had
boy.
a whole bunch. And the one that ended up actually winning was Queso, the streamer, if any of y'all know him. He actually ended up winning. And I did it in a Mortal Kombat arena. So, and then I ended up doing other ones. Like I did an ambulance match with Spider-Man 2099 and Jet the Hawk. Jet the Hawk beats Spider-Man 2099, so Jet the Hawk is obviously the better one.
Of course.
I
But
would have picked him in
anyway,
a fight any day, honestly.
exactly.
What does Miguel
So
O'Hara know about fighting compared to Jet the Hawk from Sonic Riders?
exactly. So either way, yeah, having a lot of fun with that game. It's pretty cool. Uh, Next game, another one I tried on the PS5. Can't drive this. More like I can't recommend this because it is not that great. Um, so I had this for a while, waited for a friend to get it. Jonathan ended up picking it up. We tried it out. So this game's really weird. It only has 4 modes in it. Two of the modes you play with 2 players, and the other 2 are with like 4 players. So the online only goes to 2 players. The rest you got to play local co-op. So you can't really play the other 2 modes, and the 2 modes are just basic. Like the one you just gotta one person pretty much builds the track as the other person's driving, and the one mode just see how far you can get, and it gives you like random tracks like turns and everything. You gotta quickly do it because if you stop driving your car blows up round over. And the other one you just gotta,
Literally.
yeah, exactly. And the other one you just go around and you find different like collectibles, and you gotta get them all and you go to the next level. Yeah. Uh, Save your money. Next, picked up the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I finished the first game a while ago when it first came out. And then Craig showed off that Spyro 2 Ripto statue last episode. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go in and play Spyro 2. So started that about 70% through the game, I think it said. So finished that one up. And then I'll probably do 3 because it's called Year of the Dragon, and this is the Year of the Dragon. So, yeah, that's what I have all been playing.
Baller. Yeah, I really want to play Spyro 2 and 3 eventually because I've only ever played the first one.
Going
But
back, I sorry, I think I
no,
only
you're good.
played 1 and 3 because like going back and playing through 2, I don't remember a lot of it.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking like, it's kind of like my first run through with 2.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
I own all of the games physically on PS1, and I kind of want to just play those versions because just the older I get, the more nostalgic I am for that just old like low poly style, especially the PS1 and Saturn. Like N64 has its own charm too, but there's something about PS1 and Saturn games that a lot of these models just look so charming and interesting. I think of those three, PS1 has the best looking. If you were to go back to, because I feel like I don't know. If you guys see like a random screenshot of a game from that era, are you able to tell what console it's on or no? Like if you don't know the game, because I feel like you could usually
most
have
likely.
a bit of an inkling if it's PS1, N64, or Saturn.
Yeah,
Or maybe I'm
I'll
just
take a
really
guess, yeah.
crazy. Maybe I'm just a crazy person, but I really do enjoy the look of the Spyro games, especially are so just like liminal, spacey, and dreamlike. So I think I might go back and try to play those. I don't have a good TV for my retro systems right now, but I do have that little screen that you could hook up to your PS1, so I could play it
oh
on that
really?
little screen.
Oh, flip
Yeah,
it
so
up. Nice.
yeah, which is really cool. It just basically makes it a portable console, which is really dope. So might play it that way. Maybe I'll do that soon.
Hey, they're fun little short games. So
Hmm. Yeah,
if
they're
you're
not
playing
that
on
long
PS1,
too.
you won't be enticed to get the platinum trophies. You won't be enticed to
That's also
100% the
true.
game.
I feel like I'll be able to just enjoy my time because I won't have that gnawing away at me.
Yeah, so I'm like, ooh, but I got 100% this level. But it's really not that bad,
Mm.
essentially.
I still
It's
only
kind of
played
straightforward.
Spyro to this day through a demo on one of the Crash games.
That's
That's
still
my
really
entire
cool though.
Spyro experience.
Do you have an interest in playing that?
Yeah, I mean it's one of those games.
Wait,
Oh,
what will you play first, Spyro or Persona 3 Reload? Is the question.
I guess we'll have to see. I probably get the Spyro Reignited trilogy and beat all 3 of those first. No,
All
I did have.
platinum
Alright.
trophies.
there's a
Good
part of
answer,
me
good
I would
answer.
like to get the Reignited trilogy to play one day. But
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Zach, what have you been playing?
yeah, well, Tyler kind of alluded to. I have been putting off for most of this year a big Atlas RPG. I've really been wanting to get back
Whoa.
into. Um, I've been looking for an opportunity to really find time to really sink my teeth back into it. The last month since the last episode, I've really been playing a lot of Unicorn Overlord. Um,
Such a dick.
um,
Is it turn-based?
no, it's kind of like a real time strategy game.
Okay.
That like, and then when you bump into an enemy, it goes into a simulated turn-based battle.
Hmm.
But it's kind of interesting. It's all predetermined. You can see what's going to happen. Like so, when you bump into them, it says what the results are going to be. Then you just watch it happen. So
Can
it's
you skip
interesting,
it?
but
Oh,
you can skip it.
Just wondering.
And
I
if you
feel
don't
like if
skip
I
it,
if
the game will.
I feel like if I
Oh,
knew it was
oh,
gonna happen, I wouldn't be incentivized to watch it. That's the only reason I ask.
yeah, so it's interesting. I felt the same way, but what watching it gives you is you see what because you basically you build up a team of you have like 6 tiles on like a squad, and you configure different types of units, like a flying unit, a cavalry unit, an armored unit, healer, whatever, in different spots, and they synergize with each other in different ways. So watching it helps you figure out like why they beat the other team or why they lost to a certain configuration of a team. So once you kind of figure out a good lineup, then I just skip all the battles. Otherwise, the game would take way too long. But I'm at the last boss now. Fun game. And good news is now that I've just about cleaned this up, I am going to actually start playing some more retro games on my Switch. I'm going to jump back into the N64, NSO, clean up some of those games that I haven't played before. So looking forward to that.
Nice. What do you think is next?
On like other than NSO
Hmm?
or just
No,
in
like on
general.
NSO. Like, what do you think if you're going into
So
N64? What are you feeling?
they added Perfect Dark and they added Turok
Hmm.
to the N64 17 Plus app,
Yeah,
the separate app for the
so funny.
mature games, which is so funny.
Such a
Um,
waste.
better get
and
Conquer
then
on there.
I'm sure Conquer will come eventually. And then I played like an hour of Jet Force Gemini like a month ago. I want to give that game a go a little more. So yeah, just some like N64 games, mainly rare games. I never got around to playing like Jet Force Gemini and Perfect Dark.
Hmm.
But
Cool,
Turok will
cool.
be fun. Turok sounds like a fun game. I'm sure
Yeah, it is
it's
fun.
fun shooting dinosaurs.
That's a childhood game for me. My dad loved Turok, so we had them all growing up.
Yep.
All right, so I have been playing Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne. For people who have been following this podcast, I mentioned that on the first episode of one of my backlog games of shame because I considered myself a very large Atlas fan and JRPG fan, and I feel like this is a very seminal uh, JRPG that I have not played. Um, I have played it in the past but never finished it. I got about 8 hours in. I got through a couple of bosses. But when I loaded it up the other day when I felt like playing it, I had no idea where I had left up. I was like, I can't remember what the hell I was doing. So I was like, I'll just start over. 8 hours isn't the end of the world. And I'm about 4.5 hours in now. I still absolutely love it. You know, it's as tough as nails as everybody says. Very, very hard JRPG. You know, anything you could do to the enemy, they can do to you. If you're familiar with Persona and like kind of like the like one more system where it's like you hit a weakness so you get an extra turn. They have that in Shin Megami Tensei as well. But in Nocturne, if you miss, you lose 2 turns. So it's very punishing if you miss a hit. Then because you get 1 move per party member, you can have 4 party members. So if you miss, then you get 2 turns missed. So that could totally get you whooped. So you know, say you're all a little low on health, you miss, and then your next person that you had that was either gonna finish off the enemy or heal you or whatever, they don't get a go now. That's the enemy's turn. Then they hit your weakness. Then they get an extra turn, and then all of a sudden it's game over, and you're like, "Oh, cool! I just lost half an hour."
Snowballs out of
That's
control.
super fun. Yeah. So, it is very frustrating, but it is also super rewarding when you do well in the game. The game famously has a very big, hard, tough brick wall of a first boss called the Matador. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Matador. Very popular just kind of like memed on boss because it's kind of like, you know, like the standard for the game where it's like, you know, the game's a little tough but not too hard, so you get to this first boss, and then the first thing he does is give himself like disgustingly high evasion where you only have like 1 in an eighth chance of hitting him, so you just get absolutely demolished if you don't know what's coming, and it's just like, holy shit, it feels like the biggest bitch slap, but it kind of in a cool way, because it's like, you're like, all right, now there's this super tough enemy that I have to figure out how to take them down, and the best way to do it obviously is to grind, but if you're, you know, super into the strategy of the game and learning the systems of how to stack moves properly, and you know, perfecting your ability to know like weaknesses and strengths for your characters, and just kind of, you know, doing some reading. You know, you go to the shops and you're like, oh, you know, they have this very expensive item that I can't afford, but it gives me the ability to withstand the attack of this boss, so maybe I'll grind to do that, or maybe you'll grind for different demons to collect that have abilities that can slow down the Matador, so that his evasion is as high when he makes his first move of making his evasion like 4 or 8 times higher or whatever it is. So I like that the game has just so many options and different ways to deal with the super difficult boss fights, and it's just a very good and rewarding feeling game. But it is tough as nails. It's definitely, like, for the JRPG hardcores, I wouldn't recommend this to almost any normal video game fan, because I feel like it's just a very niche kind of game. But I also could be wrong, because it seems like a lot of people are very into Shin Megami Tensei 5 right now. So, and I haven't beaten 5 either, so I can't really say comparatively how difficult it is compared to 3. But 3 is definitely tough as nails, but totally worth it. And I gotta say, the game oozes style. I think 3 has like one of the coolest aesthetics of any game ever. The artist Kaneko just has such a cool, unique, and striking art style, so everything about the game visually, absolutely beautiful. Sorry I rambled for a while. I've been super on top of this game, and just I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, I want to play it more. It's really cool. It's just like a true nitty-gritty, hard as nails JRPG with you know, everyone gives Persona all the style points, but SMT definitely has a lot of really cool, unique aesthetics as well. And the soundtrack also banging, so, you know, to the average person, I feel like I can't recommend it because it's just so tough and so hardcore, but, like, I think you guys would maybe enjoy it as well. So, shout out to Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne.
I've got a history with buying Atlas RPGs and not playing them. I have SMT5. I bought near launch. Never even turned it on, and now the Vengeance version is out. I'm like, damn it.
Holy shit, we're back. Zach is dying. We had some technical difficulties, but hopefully we don't have any more technical difficulties, or I might cry. I had to restart my computer. You know, Tyler had his firstborn child. You guys missed so much in the meantime. A lot has happened. It has been years since we started recording episode 10. Trying to pull up the show notes again because I'm a professional and I didn't do that before I started recording again. Let's see.
We're
Tyler.
down to pickups, basically.
Yes. Yeah, we were just talking about Shin Megami Tensei.
We're talking about how Zach buys games that he doesn't play. Atlas games specifically that he doesn't play.
I try to play them, okay? I'm trying my best.
Do you even try?
So many
How
hours.
long have you owned Persona 3 Reload without even taking off the goddamn plastic, mister?
I'll have you know, it is installed on my PlayStation. It's been installed for 6 months. It's on my PlayStation screen every time I turn it on.
I hope that I taunt you in your thoughts every time you see it.
There he is. It's Craig again.
Just looming over your shoulder.
Yep.
Yes, so I guess we can just get into pickups. I don't remember what I was saying about Shin Megami Tensei 5, so... Or, not 5, 3. Great game. Everyone play it. I only have one game to show, so I'll go first just to get it out of the way. I got me some degenerate trash for the PlayStation Vita, Senran Kagura Estival Versus. One more game towards the set. We all know Tyler himself is a degenerate, and he has played some Senran Kagura before. So
my first one was Peach Beach Splash, folks. Peach,
Is that
peach,
the
splash.
Splatoon spin-up, like the Splatoon ripoff?
Yeah, all
I
water
remember you telling
guns
me
and
about it.
stuff. And you get
So
like squirmy finishes and stuff. But all right, that's enough of that.
I don't like that. I don't like
That's what
squirmy.
they're called. I'm not even lying.
Don't
Not
say that again.
exaggerating.
You know what?
Yeah.
You're in
All right,
timeout, Zach. Why don't you go ahead and show your pickups?
that's
Craig, you
good. I
gotta
got
bleep
to take
that.
up my
Bleep
newborn
that in the
anyway.
episode.
What'd you
Yeah.
say?
That's good. I got to go take care of my newborn anyway.
There you go. He's crying.
Craig, I have no pickups to show this episode.
No.
I did get a game that is on its way here through the Best Buy deal of the day a couple days ago. I got
Mm.
Sonic Superstars for $10.
Oh, game sucks.
Yeah, that's why I didn't buy it, but it was $10.
For $10.
So, um,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
worth it
so
for
it'll be here,
$10.
yeah, it'll be here tomorrow. I'm sure I'll have fun with it. At least $10 worth of fun of it.
Hmm.
I heard that the bosses are a low point in that game, but I like Sonic games. I'll find some fun in it.
No, it's not terrible. It's just I was personally disappointed in it, but I love the art style. So
I did have high hopes for it when it was announced,
Me
and
too.
then I was like, well, then when reviews came out, it was kind of middling, and the stuff I read about it specifically pushed me a little bit away from it.
Yeah.
But
I will tell you right now, that is not a platinum trophy you will get. It is like
uh,
disgustingly difficult. So
yeah, well, I'm not very good at 2D Sonic anyway. I typically struggle with 2D Sonic games. Just never been super good at them. So if I can beat the game, I'll call it a win.
that's what I did. I finished the main campaign. I uninstalled it, and then I let out a really deep sigh and never looked at the game again. So, Tyler, what do you have to show for pickups?
For me. All right, let's see. Got a couple things here. This one, it's called Trepang 2. Trepang. I don't know how you say it.
Ooh.
Trepang 2. It's like a little first-person shooter game. It's pretty uncommon on the PS5. Picked that up. There was a company that had a reprint of it, so figured I'd scoop that up. Went game hunting over the weekend,
Ooh.
and I figured this is one. If anybody has an Xbox One game, they should have this in their collection. Rare replay.
Yeah.
And I didn't have it yet, so I just got it because it was only $5, and I was like, "Yeah, that's worth it."
Yeah, it's a hell of a gift for $5.
Yeah. Another one that I got. This is actually I showed this same game off the last episode, but I found another one. It was Dynasty Warriors Extreme,
So now you have a double.
whatever. Yeah, but
You're the
buddy,
reason
buddy.
game prices are rising.
well, no, because I'm giving it to Vinny for the price I paid for it, so he can have
Plus
that
$10.
and enjoy it. I think it was like $16.99, but yeah. Got this pretty uncommon GBA 3-pack,
Ooh.
brand new, sealed on eBay. Our
stuff.
buddy Christian sent me the link, and I was like, well, he sent it in our group actually, and I was just like, yeah, sure, why not?
I was gonna
Pick
buy
that
it,
up.
and then you beat me to it.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
another one got listed, but they listed it for like $5 more. It's like the seller has a case of them, and they just keep upping it.
Yeah, every time it
So-
sells, he's probably gonna raise it a little bit more.
Yeah. And then at this one game store, I couldn't believe my eyes. I walked in, I was like looking at everything. I was like, oh, they got some cool stuff. Then I looked in the glass case, stack of N-Gage games like that. I was like, can I see that stack? Pulls it out. I had most of it. The only thing I didn't have was like Tomb Raider, Virtua Tennis, and there was some other game. But they were kind of like above where I could just easily get them on eBay. Except one, and that is Sonic N.
Hmm.
So one I didn't have on the N-Gage yet, and one that I would want to have anyway. Whenever I get an N-Gage, I'll try it out. It's probably not that great on it, but
No, it's
and
famously bad on it, actually.
then one final pickup. It's a quite big pickup, and that's Big the Cat.
Yes.
Nice.
Right here. Big the Cat.
Is that
Sonic Adventure Plug.
is that a Japanese or an American one?
No, it's an American one.
Nice. Still cool.
So got a little fishing pole and everything.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just like, can't leave Big at the store. Actually, fun fact on how I got this: they had one at both stores, and then the one I passed up. But I was gonna buy this one game, which they gave me the game, and it ended up having the. And I was like, this ain't the right game. And he was like, oh, well, let me check the other one. And he was like, no, I think it just was a DLC voucher in the case. And I was like, no, I don't think that's how it was. And I looked it up, and then he was like, oh, I was like, yeah, just give me store credit. Then when I went to the next store, they had that. And I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up.
I have a very core memory of getting that plush for my birthday when I was like 5 years old, which is really cool. So yeah, my parents truly loved me as a son because they got me the whole American wave of Sonic Adventure plushes back in the day.
I
So
want the Chow one so bad.
it's really
Want the
cool.
Chow.
Have you seen the Knight's Chow?
Yeah,
Absolutely
I've seen that one
beautiful.
before.
It is worth so much money. It is insane. Sonic plushes in particular can be like thousands of dollars. It's crazy how hardcore the market is for them. But you know what? If I had thousands of dollars to blow, I would definitely be spending it on Sonic stuffed animals myself. So I don't judge
One
these people.
Sonic plush. I have it at arm's reach, so I'm gonna show it real quick. You ever see this plush like this? It's like a
Oh
old
yeah,
classic Sonic
hmm
plush, but it turns
Oh,
into
it's
like,
so cool.
the
I love that.
monstrosity.
yeah, yeah, stuff them all in.
Biblically accurate Sonic.
Bam, look at that. That looks
Beautiful. Looks
representable.
terrifying. I love it.
Just represent. Yeah.
And you gotta stuff them back up. There you go. But yeah, show that off real quick.
Shout out to our boy Sonic the Hedgehog. Will he
I
get
like to mention
mentioned
that-
later in the show on our favorite GameCube games? Who knows? Anything's
so.
possible. Anything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time we start the topic of the show. Our favorite / the best GameCube games. I have my list here ready to go. I'm curious to see
Whoa.
how it compares to everybody else's. What?
How are we missing my segment?
Oh
I was
yeah.
gonna ask.
I totally
was gonna
skipped
ask.
over your segment. Yeah. You
Whoa.
know what? We no longer care about Tyler's history lesson. All my homies hate Tyler's history lesson. No,
was like,
honestly, this is why I
I
make
didn't
show
wanna ask.
notes. This is why I make show notes because literally I'll scroll just far enough to not have Tyler's history lesson in the show notes, and I just saw topic of the show, so that's where my brain went next. I apologize.
I was like, I have this whole thing in front of me.
I need structure. I'm not smart enough to remember how I'm supposed to structure a podcast.
It's all good. That's why we're here. We're here to help.
Yeah, so, it's just like that one time Zach called me out because he's like, hey, you didn't read in our write-ins. I'm like, oops.
This is no longer called Generations Behind. It's called One Segment Behind, all right?
Hey,
One
hey.
segment behind.
Exactly, I need you boys to keep me straight. Tyler, why don't you go ahead and teach us and the people some fun retro gaming history.
All right, here we go. So, starting off, August 6th, 1999 is when SNK officially released the Neo Geo Pocket Color in the US.
Oh.
You have an idea of what it retailed for?
Ooh. I'm going to say $199.
$249.99.
$69.95.
Wow, that's crazy. Dude,
What a deal!
and have either of you guys ever played the Neo Geo Pocket Color?
I have not.
Sure haven't.
Absolutely awesome system. The stick on it's like super clicky, so you could feel it any way that you rotate it, and it's like a full little joystick. It's super super cool. It unfortunately does not have a backlit screen, so it's hard to see unless you get a modded one. But phenomenal system. If you could get one for cheap and get an EverDrive for it, one of the most fun times you'll ever have with a retro gaming handheld. I absolutely love the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Tons of very fun games on there. The Metal Slugs, the golfing game Neo Turf. I think it's just called Neo Turf on the Pocket Color. I can't remember the full name, but tons of really good games on there. There's a weird demake of the Dreamcast game Evolution. That JRPG for it. There's lots of interesting stuff on there.
Is
Tons
it called
of fight.
Devolution?
No, but that'd be great. There's tons of fighting games on there. There's an SNK versus Capcom Pokemon card game clone on there. It's super cool. So shout out to Neo Geo Pocket Color, one of the
Very nice.
most underrated systems of all time.
The systems of all time.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, moving along. August 6th, August 7th. Or no, that was August 6th. August 7th, August 8th. Nothing really too much to write home about. So we're moving along to August 9th. August 9th, 1992 is when Midway Games released the Mortal Kombat 1.0 arcade machine in the United States. You know, that must have been
Oh.
something sometime back then, like looking forward to arcade releases and like, trying to figure out, oh, which laundromat's going to have this, what pizza place, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something
I
we didn't
never-
really live through, but
I was gonna say because even when I was very young, still the arcades just really weren't a thing anymore. Like our pizza place had um it had a House of the Dead, and then it had what is that weird PS1 fighting game? There's like the girl with the
Virtua
whip and
Fighter.
no, that's it has like the girl with the whip and like the old man with the Fu Manchu. I figured Tyler might know it. It's some weird obscure fighting game that's like not considered good at all. But yeah, so shout out to my pizza place that had House of the Dead and some strange PS1 fighting games arcade
Battle
port.
Arena Toshiden or
That
whatever
is
it is?
exactly what it is. Yes, Battle Arena Toshinden.
For
So yes, thank you. I figured it would come to you. I just
a
had a
second,
feeling.
I was like, wait.
Yeah, because there's
There
the
you
old man with the Fu Manchu and the girl with the whip. Those are the only characters I played, so that's why I remember. But yeah, so shout out to that. And it had a Creature from the Black Lagoon pinball machine, so that was fun.
Oh, snap. Also on August 9th, 1999 is when Sega announced it is beginning a United States $100 million marketing campaign to promote the Dreamcast.
That worked
went
out
really
well.
well for them. Yeah. So see where we are
It should have
today.
been $9.99 instead of a million. That would be more in theme with the $9.99.
See, this is
What?
why they failed. You should have been their marketer.
Exactly.
Wasn't there in time.
Zach could have saved the Dreamcast at the ripe age of 4 or 5 years old or whatever you would have been.
I would have been 3 when the Great Dreamcast came out. So
All right, moving along. August 10th, 1994, Square released Breath of Fire for the Super Nintendo in the United States. That's one RPG I really want to check out.
Yes,
One day I will.
I've played a couple of hours of it, but not the whole way through. When they added it to Nintendo Switch Online, I checked it out. I've always
forgot
heard
it's
3
on
and
Nintendo.
4 are the ones that people really like, the PS1 ones.
I bought 4 off of you, and I still got to play it.
Oh yeah, I did tell you that.
August 11th, 1995, we had another big RPG release. Squaresoft released Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo in the United States.
Oh, okay, cool.
Going
Never heard
back
of
to
it.
our... Well, yeah, that's because it's called Chrono Trigger.
Oh, okay.
Chrono
Mhm.
Trigger. Okay, Chrono
Yeah,
Trigger.
that
Thank you.
game. All right. One I really want to check out. It was in my backlog of shame, I think. I mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
2001 on August 11th as well. Nintendo released Mario Kart Super Circuit for the GBA. Y'all ever play that one?
Yeah,
Thoughts on that
it's
one?
all right.
Yeah.
I'm not big
Tried
on that
doing
or
it.
the original, so
Yeah, those two games are not my favorites.
Dude, we tried playing it online. Switch Online, it was me, Jason, Jonathan, and I think Hector was like with us too. And dude, you got to have like your Switch connected, like wired, like all of you or something, because dude, that thing was chugging. Like for a GBA, it was like, oh, it
I
was
love
an
the idea of a
experience.
GBA game chugging to run because it can't perform well on a Switch.
It was something.
It's
And then we
awesome.
also tried Mario Party, and that got chugging a little bit sometimes. There was one other,
Oh.
don't know what it was. August 13th, 1991, Nintendo releases the Super Nintendo in the United States. Price is $199.95, including 2 controllers and Super Mario World. The launch lineup for the Super Nintendo was Super Mario World, F-Zero, SimCity, Gradius 3, and Pilot Wings.
I actually know
Let's
that
go.
because recently I was looking into it. I was like, it'd be cool to own the launch games for every system. I thought that'd be a fun, like, kind
Oh,
of like
that's a cool
subset to
idea.
go
Pretty
for.
neat.
But
Yeah.
since I'm a madman and I only like collecting complete in box, getting Super Mario World complete in box is the thing that makes me not want to do that. All the other games are not too bad, but even if you get like the All Stars version or the not the All Stars, like the Player's Choice version, that's like still I think like minimum like $600-700 complete. So it's
Dang,
brutal.
I didn't realize-
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, nobody had the box for Super Mario World because every Super Nintendo came with it without the box.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
I just didn't realize that even the player's choice was that much.
yeah, it's still beefy. But I would settle for that if it meant I could have the launch lineup complete, like a little like mini set. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah. One day after, but 2 years back, is when Sega, in 1989, on August 14th, is when Sega launches the Sega Genesis for $189.
I always forget how old the Genesis is, like comparative to the Super Nintendo. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. And the launch lineup for that was Altered Beast, Last Battle, Space Harrier 2, Super Thunderblade, Thunder Force 2, and Tommy Lasorda Baseball.
Altered Beast, the greatest game of all time, as we all know.
Yeah, beat that in an arcade.
Rise from your grave.
big
Also,
Tommy
that
Lasorda fan here, so I
are
mean,
you?
no.
I didn't think so. Also, why is Altered Beast 15 minutes long? That's just unacceptably short.
Yeah.
I had to shout
See,
that
I
out.
like always played it as a kid, never like really went all the way through it. And
Mhm.
then like 2 years back, went to an arcade with some friends and they had that there, and I was like, "Oh, let's play through Altered Beast." Me and my buddy Matt, dude, we just flew through that, and I was like, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah, that
Like,
was me. Because as a kid, I couldn't beat it. I thought it was so hard. And then when they added Nintendo Switch Online, I was like, I'm going to beat this. It's a childhood game I wasn't good enough to beat as a kid, but I could beat it now. And then literally, like, my dinner was done cooking before I even finished the game. I was like, this is unreal.
1995 of August 14th, Nintendo introduces the Virtual Boy. That great little system. Shout out to
I want
Craig
to get a
Shirt.
Virtual
One
Boy
day
one
he'll
day.
have a Jack Bros.
One day. I would like to shout out the wonderful modding community for the 3DS now that you can play Virtual Boy games on 3DS. I just think that's
That's
super
awesome.
cool. So, because I'm never going to want to actually play a real Virtual Boy. That sounds like the most unfun thing you could do.
August
Computer
16th,
eyes.
August 16th, 2000, Square released Chrono Cross for the PS1. Did they
There
ever
we
play
go.
Chrono Cross?
Nah, I plan on playing it after I beat Chrono Trigger. I want to play them back to back. But I don't know. I always hear mixed things about Chrono Cross. Like it seems like people either love it and they think it's better than Chrono Trigger, or they think it's like a huge step down. And I haven't really seen a lot of like in between opinions. So super curious to see what it's like.
Yeah, and a cool thing, the recent re-release of Chrono Cross, it comes with that like Satellaview like
Mm,
bonus visual novel, I think it is
mm-hmm.
for Chrono Cross. I just thought that was a really cool addition that they one that existed, and two that they put that back in the re-release.
Yeah, because I didn't even know that existed until they released it.
Yeah.
Very neat.
Let's see, August 7th. Oh, wait, no, back to 16th. We got one more for the August 16th, 2005, is when Sega released Sonic Gems Collection for the GameCube. That is how I first played Sonic R, and then I was like, what are people talking about? This is a great game. Just saying.
I do.
Soundtrack, great
I I do
game.
love Sonic R as well. I remember seeing that game at Costco as a kid and wanting it so bad because when I was a kid, Tails was my favorite character, and it had the Tails Game Gear games on it that had
Mm.
never been released in any other way, and one of them was a Japanese only game, so I wanted it so bad. But I did not get it until I was an adult, and then I realized Tails Sky Patrol is not very good, so. I wasn't. If you're out there, 7-year-old Craig, you're not missing out on too much.
And then August 17th, 1999, Soul Reaver released for the PlayStation in the US. Brought that one up because there's apparently like rumors going around of a new one coming out or something like that.
hmm
So, never played the series, don't know much about it,
Yeah, I don't really
but
know anything about Legacy of Kain.
it's
I
a game.
just have heard that people love them, and I know Amy Hennig worked on them, who famously made Uncharted and stuff. So kind of an interesting lineage.
Yep.
Then also on August 17th, 2004, Sega released Astro Boy Omega Factor for the GBA in the US.
That game is
One,
awesome.
that's what I hear. I gotta play it. I have a complete box, still have yet to play it. But
One of my favorite Game Boy Advance games. Definitely, definitely worth playing. Especially if you're a Mega Man fan, you will like it.
nice. Then, our a final history part. August 18th, 1982, Atari announced that it has obtained exclusive worldwide rights to market video games based on the film E.T., which was a major time in gaming because who wouldn't want to have this game signed by the kid who played Elliot on his cartridge, authenticated, mind you? Who wouldn't want to have that? Obviously the people that threw it in the landfill, but
Sure.
I'll put it on my shelf. Just saying.
I feel like we've had ET history for the last 3 episodes. What's going on with the
There's
ET
just a
history?
lot.
For real.
E.T. is
It was like
omnipresent.
it was like
Yeah.
one of the days that the landfill was like marked. One of the days that something came out about it. One of the
The best
but
part, I've never seen E.T., so
what?
never watched E.T.
You're as bad as Hector now. All
I
right.
mean, I have no interest. He's ugly. I don't want to watch a whole movie where I'm looking at this
Ooh.
repulsing creature for an hour and a half. It doesn't sound fun.
I
Dude.
saw one. I
Oh.
saw a funny thing. It's like an ET sequel where they go to his planet and all the ET aliens are all wearing clothes. It's like, why wasn't ET wearing clothes?
I went.
That's really funny.
I don't think it was last year. I think it was 2 years ago. It was like one of the whatever year anniversary it was, and played it in theaters. Went back and seen it in theaters. Fun fact: did you know that like some about the movie, Craig? Like how they feed them Reese's Pieces or whatever.
No, I didn't know that. Thanks for spoiling it for me, asshole.
Oh, well, it's not a big deal. But
Just kidding.
that's how he leads them like to Elliot. He leads them ET over to him. And
That would work for
originally
me
it was
too.
supposed to be M&Ms, and they reached out to them and they were like, "Nah, we ain't doing that. That's stupid." And then Reese's Pieces were like, "Yeah, let's do it." Well, Reese's were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then the dude, their stuff skyrocketed, and M&Ms was like,
Yeah.
"Should have done it."
Well, Reese's Pieces are definitely the far superior candy, if we're being honest.
I agree.
So
I
Hey,
agree.
I've been eating a lot of the peanut butter M&Ms lately, and they're just Reese's Pieces, and I'm like, you did it, M&Ms. You stole the idea. It tastes
you
just
figured
as
it out.
good. I love that red bag of M&Ms.
It is the best. That is my go-to as well. Chocolate and peanut butter, best combination ever
Yep.
invented.
Yep.
Shout out. All right, I think now, without me fucking up, time for topic of the show. What am I forgetting? Let me know. Anything?
You're forgetting.
You got it.
I don't know. We're good.
Okay. All right. I didn't scroll too far this time. Topic of the show: the best GameCube games. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and score these all and have a definitive list by the end. I'm very curious to see how different our lists are from one another. I think we're gonna have some crossover because there's a lot of GameCube games that rise up to the top for a lot of people because they're just kind of agreed upon everybody for being excellent games. But who knows? Maybe all of our lists will be completely different. That would also be kind of interesting. But I think that we should have Zach go first. So what is your fifth favorite GameCube game?
My fifth favorite GameCube game is a game that I got right when I first got the GameCube for Christmas, and I think it was like 2002, whatever it was. It's SSX Tricky.
Oh,
Here we go.
I love this damn game. It's if you've played like 1080 snowboarding, the way I think of this is like a more like unrealistic 1080 snowboarding. It's just like you're jumping off of like giant mountains doing like crazy, 30 flips in a row. This game, the first level of this game is called Garibaldi, and it literally starts the game with the best level in the whole game. You turn the corner right from the start, and it's just the biggest drop in the whole game, and it just lets you do whatever you want off the biggest drop in the whole game. And when I first started playing the game, I would just normally fall the whole way down and land on my neck, and then like roll and like just ragdoll. But now when I'm playing, when you upgrade your characters and you get them to like the upgrade their tricks, it's just really fun to go off that first jump and do like 40 backflips, spinning around. And I basically, whenever I pop this game in, I just play Garibaldi, the first level, and just go for high scores. I know that level like the back of my hand. My snowboarder of choice is Mac because he's the best at tricks. Yeah, it's basically just an arcade snowboarding game, really unrealistic, grinding rails, doing uber tricks, which is you throw your board around you and do nonsense. One of my favorite games of all time, if not just GameCube, just altogether. I love this game. But
love to hear it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have always wanted to play the SSX games, and I've never played any of them, but I always thought they all looked like so much fun. I've heard Tricky is the best one, too, so...
yeah. So like three is I haven't played much of three, but I think three is also on the GameCube. My friend of mine had that. They rebooted SSX like on like the PS Wii 60 generation, and I didn't like SSX on the PS3 as much. It wasn't quite the same as what Tricky is. Tricky is just like junk food. Dude flips off of ramps. That's like what this is, and that's why I like it so much because it feels more unique in that way. And there's races, but I don't like the racing as much. I'd rather because the racing you have like 7 computers with you, and it's about getting to the end. I just want to like go slow and do half pipes and stuff like that. So, but yeah, SSX Tricky, great game.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah,
All
I never
right.
delved into the SSX series as much, but I remember watching you stream that and it looked like a fun time.
Yep.
Oh, have you streamed it before?
Yeah, when I got a HDMI adapter for my GameCube
Mm-hmm.
a year ago or so, so I was like testing it out with games.
That was a year
Had
ago.
probably more. I don't know, honestly. Couldn't tell you how long it's been.
Time flies.
Yes, it does. Indeed. All right, Tyler. What is your fifth
All
favorite
right, my
GameCube
fifth
game?
one can't show it because I don't own a physical copy. No clue what happened to mine.
Can't
But
like it that much.
however, it I, hush, you hush. However, it is Luigi's Mansion. All
Hmm.
right, it was time for Mario to step aside and Luigi to get in the spotlight. And this is one game that I have memories a lot playing like with my dad when I was younger, so it was really fun. Just going through that game, catching all the ghosts, all the different variations of ghosts. Um, the I remember one time we got really stuck, or I think he did, and then like this is when I like came in and helped him and all that stuff. The part where you got to find all the booze throughout the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? They did that. First game we like kind of beat together, which was pretty fun.
That's cool.
Just overall, like that series, and the first one I feel is my favorite of the three. I mean, I still got to go back and finish three, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Three's
the
really
first one's
good.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got any memories with Luigi's Mansion?
Yeah, so when I finished the GameCube set, that was how I celebrated was I marathon Luigi's Mansion. I was like, now that I have every GameCube game, I was like, I need to play it, a seminal GameCube game I haven't played yet. And then I saw that Luigi's Mansion is super short, so I played it in basically like one and a half sittings, like pretty
Super
much just
short. Shout
nonstop.
out to Professor Egad.
Yes,
You're
super
like, "Witchy,
good, but
witchy."
The guy from Super Mario Superstar Saga,
yeah,
That
Egad,
guy.
the coffee
famously.
shop.
But yeah, it was. I had a very good time with that. I remember it being actually pretty tough too in terms of like some of the puzzles being very clever. I remember having to look up a few things. I couldn't give the exact examples off the top of my head, but stylistically the game is great. It looks amazing for being a GameCube launch title. It holds up graphically so well. Looks super good. And it is just fun, having a Luigi game instead of having Mario be in the spotlight, of course, as you said. Also, absolutely fantastic soundtrack. All the time, I hummed to myself the wah, 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 wah. All the time, me and my wife will sing that to each other, just like when we're just like dilly dallying around the house or whatever. It's never left me since I played it. It's so funny. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion is definitely an all-time classic. So I need to play
Dude,
2 and 3 because I've never played either of those.
I want them, like, I know we got one ported to the 3DS, but like, they have two on the Switch. They got three on the well, Dark Moon, whatever you want to
Mhm.
call it now, on the Switch.
Yeah.
Three on the Switch. I feel like they should just put the original on the Switch
Yeah, now it
because
feels
then you'll
like
have all of them.
yeah, it feels like a missing hole now in the Switch library since the other two are there. I wonder if they'll maybe remedy that when they, who knows? Maybe one day we'll get lucky and they do a GameCube for the NSO. I doubt it, but we could dream.
I'm growing more doubtful just because there's so many GameCube games. If you like Pikmin, Paper
Yeah, they're
Mario,
just remaking
so,
them instead.
yeah, Sunshine's on there.
Yeah, Bait and Kaido's like weird stuff. So,
Metroid
Yeah.
Prime,
hmm
like yeah. So
yeah, and you know what? It works. I'll buy them every time. I'll buy every
Yep.
GameCube re-release they do. Any
Very
Luigi's
nice.
Mansion thoughts, Zach?
no, I don't really play much of Luigi's Mansion. I talk a lot about a friend I had that I played a lot of GameCube games. I had a friend that had a lot of the GameCube games I didn't have. So games like Luigi's Mansion, I did play at some point in my life at his house, but I never owned Luigi's Mansion 1. I'd like to play it. I know it's a short game. I'd like to knock it out one day. But I did play 3 and I enjoyed 3 a whole lot. So one day I'll play 1 and 2 or Dark Moon, Dark 2 HD, whatever.
Whichever
Whatever you
one.
want to call it.
All right, so for me, my number 5, gotta give it Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So Sonic Adventure 2, obviously a Dreamcast game, but this is definitely the better version of this game. I see Zachary raging his pile because I'm assuming he's going to talk about it. But yes, obviously, phenomenal game. There's definitely been some revisionist history with this game where people are like, "Oh, only the Sonic and Shadow lovers are fun." Definitely disagree with that. I think that the whole game is strong through and through. Obviously, the Chow Garden, one of the greatest side games within a game ever. Everybody adores the Chow Garden. It's deeper than the actual game of Sonic Adventure 2 itself, which is so fun and so funny. I remember living on the Chow Island website as a child to try to figure out how to make all the perfect chows as a kid.
Heck
See, I knew one of you guys would know it
yeah.
at least. I lived on that website. Absolutely adored it. And I still go back to this game. I replay Sonic Adventure at least once a year because it's not that long and I love that game a little bit more than this one. The reason I chose this over DX is because DX is the worst version of the game. I'll always have to go with the Dreamcast version of Adventure, but this is the best version of Sonic Adventure 2. And I do also think that the multiplayer mini games in battle are also very fun. I remember thinking it was a dream come true when I was able to play as Chaos as a kid and Tikal. I thought that was the coolest thing because those were two of my favorite Sonic characters that aren't in a lot of Sonic media, and as far as I'm aware, only time those two characters are playable is in the multiplayer of this game. So, shout out Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Not just Sonic and Shadow are good, the whole game is good. You're all just lying to yourselves on the Twitter and YouTube game reviewer hive mind.
Dude, just being able to go through those like Tails and Eggman's levels and just blow everything up, like it's great.
Oh, so satisfying.
Yeah,
it's so satisfying. I will say the worst boss fights in that game are definitely the Eggman and Tails one where you literally just it's like E102 Gamma's boss fights in SA1 where you just boop, boop,
And B and then
over.
you win. Yeah.
But oh god, there's so many good boss fights in Sonic Adventure 2 though. Oh my god, like the Bio Lizard, and the final boss of course, and then forget the name, but that weird like when you fight the like giant like rock robot in like the Egyptian like pyramid. There's so many good boss fights in the game too. Obviously the soundtrack absolutely banging. Live and Learn, song of the fucking like century. Just
and City Escape also.
City Escape, of course.
City Escape.
Tyler sent us a meme the other day of the Spotify of a butler with a Spotify logo for the head, and it said your usual shirt, and it was just all the Sonic soundtracks, and of course that is definitely reigns true for me. I have probably every Sonic vocal song in my liked songs on Spotify, so I listen to them at least once a day. But yeah, I just love Sonic Adventure 2. So many fun memories. I definitely have a lot more time put into the Dreamcast version because I did not have the GameCube version until I was an adult. I totally missed out on all of the, the more enhanced Chow Garden and the enhanced multiplayer and things like that until I got older. So it was cool to be able to revisit this game as an adult and play the GameCube version and see all of the like extra content that I didn't get to see until I was older. I had a little bit of experience with the multiplayer playing it at my cousin's house as a kid, which is why I mentioned Chaos and Tikal earlier. But for the most part, all the other changes like to the Chow Garden and stuff, I didn't know about any of that until much later on in life. So revisiting that game regularly like I do, I think it just holds up so well.
Couldn't say it better.
I did have it in my stack of games. Should I just go ahead and talk about it now?
Yeah, if you want to. Was it high up on your list?
It was my number one game.
Was it really? Wow. Number one.
This is in my top 10 games of all time. I love this game more than anything. Well, more than everything but like 8 other games ever. But yeah, this is one of those games that I rented from Blockbuster enough to where my mom finally gave in and bought me one. Because she noticed I kept getting this one, and eventually it just cost more to keep renting it. I agree with you, Craig. I think all 3 game modes are fun to this day. Even if these days, like on the Tails and Eggman ones, I'm just like sprinting through and zapping stuff without any regard. They're still fun. I always like the treasure hunting sections with Rouge and Knuckles. I like getting like the upgrades. I feel like the upgrades play a bigger role in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Chow Garden. I spent so much time in the Chow Garden. I remember I would leave my GameCube on so my chows would age up while I was away, so I could get them to be Chaos chows because it take like a certain amount of in-game time.
Yeah.
So I would just leave my GameCube on for like a day at a time. But
That's awesome.
yeah, Chow Garden's great. The game's great. I streamed it like last year, and it was funny revisiting this story because the story's very goofy and like it just jumps to like different things with no explanation,
And it escalates
and also
very quickly.
escalates very quickly. My favorite part though is the way that everyone's talking over each other. The sound balance is awful. It is awful.
So
Wait, you eat those words?
Yeah, there'll be four characters talking, and they're all talking over each other, and then the music is even louder than them talking. You can't hear anything.
It's so great.
It's so bad that it's good. And I guess I didn't appreciate that when I was a kid. When I replayed it last year, I was laughing. So it's so goofy, but I love this game. Yeah. So my favorite GameCube game is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. So.
Number 1. I don't blame you. It is an excellent
So
game. Tyler, I'm
was
sure you have a lot
Craig's
to say too.
It was Craig's 5. It was Daly's first, and it was my third.
There we go.
Let's go.
I'm right in the middle, dude. Like, I don't
Sounds
know
like
what
it's
else I
our
can
number
add
one
to you
GameCube
guys.
game. I'm not sure what's going to
It
be.
might
that.
be.
But man, just so many memories with that game. I remember I had a neighbor that lived across the street, and he didn't have it, and I think so. I played it originally on the Dreamcast a little bit. I didn't like get too much of it because, like how I said, with having a Dreamcast, it was my dad's ex's, whatever. And then I was like, hold on, I know what I'm gonna do. So I had my dad take me over to good old EB Games and picked myself up a copy. Went back, dude. We played that like all night, just going through it all. And then I eventually got a GameCube. I bought the game before I got a GameCube, by the way. Put that out there because Santa didn't want to give it to me. Should that throwback to one of the old episodes, but yeah, stayed up all night playing that. All the levels are great, not just like Craig said, the Sonic and Shadow one. All of them are good. Chow Garden, impeccable. Sega, I don't know what you're doing. You're giving us all this other stuff like Cocos and whatever you want to call them. Just give us Chows back and we'll be good. I mean, we're getting somewhere because the enemies kind of look like chaos, so I wonder if there's going to be a little link, but who knows? We might get there. But at the end of the day, Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the best Sonic games, and there's not much you can say about it. Because, well, I mean, other than the two I have above it on my list. But, but Sonic Adventure, for Sonic games, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is up there. And I still go back to this day and play it sometimes. And it's always a great time.
Yes. Fantastic game. All right, I guess
I was
I'll
actually
move...
listening.
Oh.
Sorry. I'm actually listening, or was listening to some of the music before the podcast. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got me in that mood, you know?
I'm very excited for the third Sonic movie to see how much Sonic Adventure 2 stuff is incorporated into it. Because it seems like it's going to be pretty heavy. You know,
when are we going to get a trailer?
I just
Hope
keep
there's
laughing.
A Pumpkin Hill
Yes,
soundtrack.
I keep laughing at all the memes of it's like crowds cheering and screaming, and it's like Sonic fans watching a little girl get shot in the Sonic movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's gonna be me, baby.
For real.
All right.
Man. Can't wait.
I know. I think so. My number 4, right? I know it's gonna be a little confusing now that we've gone through different spots, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. All right. So my number 4 talked about the game's predecessor in the N64 episode, but gotta give my number 4 spot, Super Smash Bros. Melee. So Super Smash Bros. Melee, it is insane how this game has lived on as strongly and stayed as popular as it has over the years. You know, every time a new Smash game comes out, Melee persists. It has the most hardcore, fighting game community scene. The Smash scene is so strong. So many of those people that have been playing it professionally have been doing it for so long. And I love watching it, honestly, probably more than I love playing it. But I'm a big spectator of Melee. I've been a Ride or Die Hungry Box fan for many, many years. I love Mango as well. Anytime those boys are playing, I'm going to be watching. Wizrobe, as a Captain Falcon, me and myself, I love watching him play too. There's ways to play this online now with people, which is absolutely incredible. It's so cool. If you download Slippy, you could actually play it with less input lag than you would playing it on an actual GameCube, which is insane. But yeah, even competitive stuff aside, Excellent, great roster of really cool characters that are all very fun to play, even if the game isn't very balanced. Honestly, like obviously Ness is so bad that he's unplayable, but still
That's kind
fun
of the
to
fun of
play.
it, though, right?
No,
Like if
yeah,
it was perfectly
exactly.
balanced, like it would, the imbalance is part of the fun.
No, I totally agree. And it's just so fast. It is like the fastest fighting game, and I think that makes it so fun. There's nothing more fun than just dashing back and forth as Captain Falcon and then like landing the perfect sweet spot knee on somebody. It's excellent.
Heck yeah.
I absolutely love it. I think the single player offering is super fun too. Obviously, it's always fun collecting trophies. We talk about our PlayStation trophies all the time. These are the OG trophies if we want to go that route. I always loved collecting all the low collectibles in this game. All very fun and unique stages. Has some great music. Has one of the best intro cinematics to any video game ever. It's so iconic. And yeah, I just absolutely love Melee. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on it, and I would also love to hear your Melee mains, because I'm sure we all have one, because everybody loves to play Melee. Or at least they should. You're missing out if you don't play it.
Tyler, you want to go first?
Oh, sure, I'll go first. Melee, it's not quite in my top 5. It was at first, and I did a little moving around, so it's kind of falling behind. It's
So
in
your
like
list
an
is
honorable
invalid,
mention
is what you're
section.
saying. That's fine.
No, it's listen. What we stated is everything here is fact, and there's nothing you could say against
You're
it.
right,
So therefore,
correct.
You're right.
all of
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I
So-
forgot. Facts are facts.
what they say is wrong. What we say is right. Just kidding, guys. Love you. But so first off, Melee main Marth. I like using
There you
Marth.
go.
Marth is my go-to.
His disgustingly large grab.
Exactly.
He could grab you
that.
across half the screen.
Dude, I remember there was times when one time Jason had a game night and me and Jonathan we ended up like we were there like well Jonathan lives there, but we were there like way later until everybody left. And dude, we were just playing Melee going back and forth. And he likes to play as mainly Mario if I'm right in Melee. And Marth, dude, we were just going back and forth for like couple hours at least. And it was fun just going back and forth and great game. Like you said, trophies, they're always fun to collect. Always like fun to read the little like history segments in them and all that stuff. Yeah, just a lot of childhood memories with it. Playing it together, it's always like it's one of the best party games. You have like a lot of people over, play Smash Brothers. It's a great time. You might lose some friendships, but it's a great time.
Always a good time for sure.
Yep.
I use Zach.
This is my number 2 game
Whoa.
for Smash Bros. Melee.
We're going backwards for Zach.
We really are.
All things Craig says. You were preaching to me there, Craig. Hungry Box, Mango. My first video my watch later right now is literally a winner's final match with Mango from the tournament last weekend.
I watched that live last weekend.
It's
so good.
I got
so good.
So I got Melee when I was a kid, and I mained Link and Roy. And then growing up, I realized that Link and Roy weren't super great characters. But anyway, I really liked Smash Bros. Because this has been said by other people in the past much more eloquently, but it really does a good job of like educating someone who isn't familiar with all the different Nintendo franchises and like just seeing the characters and like the curiosity of like who is Ness, who is Roy, who is Marth, all that stuff. And then y'all mentioned the trophies. Just reading the trophies, like seeing what games they're from, little little biographies.
I used to do that for
awesome.
hours when I was a kid.
That's probably my least favorite part of Smash Ultimate is the spirits are cool because there's a lot of spirits, but there's no like descriptions and like detail and like the history, which I think is such an important part of the trophies and what Smash Bros. Represents in general. But yeah, I got really into Melee. Again, like a second wind of it after high school. A buddy of mine would come over literally every day, and we would play it for literally hours. Final Destination or Battlefield 1-on-1. I became a Marth main, and we would play until we were angry at each other, just constant. And it actually got a little toxic where we were like we were like taking our anger out on each other through Melee. But yeah, I love Melee so much. I got really into competitive Melee 5 or 6 years ago where I was watching like every tournament. When I discovered there was like a backlog of all these tournaments I could go watch, that was like one of the greatest days of my life. Going back and watching all these tournaments.
I might have to go do some of that. I never really watched some
Oh
competitive
my
melee.
gosh, dude, you are in
Competitive
for
melee
a
is
treat
insane.
to watch some competitive melee, especially if you watch like some really good matches with like Hungry Box and Mango, like we said, or if you go back to some of the old Armada and just some of
The
these older
Five
players
Gods,
advertised and stuff. Yes, the Five Gods. If you haven't watched the Smash Bros.
PPMD.
Documentary, that's worth
Oh, the
watching.
Smash Bros. Documentary. It's like 4 hours of
Yes.
the greatest thing in the
It's
world.
so
Yeah.
good.
Dang.
If and then it's like even like modern melee, like the rise of Amsa and his Yoshi has been incredible to watch because
Oh
Yoshi
yeah.
was not considered viable for many many years, and then he just kind of cracked the code, and all of a sudden, this bottom tier character works his way up, and that's happening
Yep.
with Donkey Kong right now. Donkey Kong won his first major recently, which is like something that no one ever would have saw coming. So
Yep. Yeah, because
super
Donkey
super
Kong is
cool.
like low tier,
Low,
like
yeah.
bottom tier.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, competitive Smash is incredible, and one of the biggest reasons it's so good because one, like Craig said, there's still new things being learned 23 years later, new
Mm-hmm.
characters that were considered not good, but also the top players who have been playing this game for literally over 20 years are so incredible at the game. It doesn't even make sense. You can't even hope to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
But
But it's
watching, it's like
oh,
it's
I was
basically a
yeah.
professional athlete at the peak of their like career,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, and like
But
in a lot of these people, it's like even if they've started to have like downturns, like Mengo did not that great for many years, and all of a sudden he's like totally whooping ass now. Like he won
yeah,
two majors in a row, he's absolutely killing it, and it's like
yeah,
he was dropping down the like leaderboard list for a while, and now he's just killing the game again. So it's like very interesting to follow these people's careers and just see how they ebb and flow and just continue to dominate even after like almost 2 decades. Is crazy.
yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
melee is. I heard another person say it, and I wish I could give them credit because I don't remember who, but someone was just like the concept of melee is what makes it so fascinating, almost more than the
yep,
game itself.
yep.
Really
Yeah.
really cool stuff. So, man, what we had to do like just like a. We could probably do a whole melee episode one day. That'd be so fun to just go super super duper deep
Heck yeah.
into it. I think we could
I've
do that.
I've been wanting to like replay and like do all the event matches again,
Yes, that'd be fun.
and like beat the game by
Hmm.
like doing all the event matches. Um, I'll probably find some time to do that relatively soon. But
I saw a cosplay on Twitter the other day of somebody did a cosplay of Event 51, and that was one of the funniest things I've ever
oh
seen.
yeah, I saw
So
that. I saw that too.
that made me
With the
very
hands.
happy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was really
yeah,
creative.
yeah,
All right, trying to think. So that was your number two, right? And
yeah.
then, so now we're gonna go to Tyler for his number four or three. Okay,
Or
because Sonic was your third. Okay, well,
yeah, we're
as
gonna.
long as we keep track of our own, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right. So number four, this is one I didn't really play as a growing up, but one I played as an adult a couple years ago, and it quickly grew up my list. And it's one that Nintendo still needs to remake or something, and that
Mm.
is F-Zero GX.
Wow. Okay.
This game is incredible. It is fun. It is fast. It like I don't know, can't soundtrack's great. Always got like Mute City or Big Blue in my head. You know, listening to those in the car on my playlist and everything.
Going too
Uh,
fast.
Dude. But then there's sometimes, but as long as they don't catch you, you're good. So, but anyway, moving on. So this game, I remember, I'm still thinking about it. So if you don't know, there's also an arcade game, F-Zero AX.
Yep.
I kind of want to because you can go on eBay and get a memory card that has if you brought your memory card, you connected it to the arcade machine, you're able to get the tracks from that game and put them onto here.
Hmm.
That's something I still have yet to do, but there's people that sell memory cards that have the data on.
That's cool.
Such a cool
Really
idea.
tempted. Yeah, I'm
I
really
love that.
tempted to do that just so I could try it out. Game is incredibly hard. I'll tell you that. But it's well
Yes.
worth it once you finally do. You got to master those turns, and not blow up. Essentially,
I couldn't beat it for the life of me. I tried so hard, and it's like I couldn't get
dude.
past like the second race. I was like, the game did not compute, and I don't know. I
Dude,
really
it would
want to
take
play it,
many
but
tries. It would take many tries of each level. I remember Casino Palace gave me a huge problem. I was like, oh, wanted to throw my Wavebird, but I was like, can't do that. It's the best GameCube controller. But so Played it with my friend Jonathan a lot, and I remember I introduced this game actually to Vinny because I went over to his house the one time and he had it in his collection. I was like, dude, we should play F-Zero GX. And he was like, I never really played it. And then I was like, you never did? We ended up going through every single track in the game because he fell in love with it too. It's that
Nice.
good. It is incredible, and if you never played it, I recommend you play it. Just be prepared if you're going to do the story missions. It is insanely hard. But
Do you think if the rumored GX re-release, whatever comes out, they'll make it more accessible and easier, or do you think they'll keep it as difficult?
I don't know, personally, I feel like they'll probably keep it the same because it's kind of like just a thing of muscle memory, I guess you could say. Like once you get a
Mhm.
memory of all the track and when to turn and all that stuff, it's pretty
Yeah.
simple to say, but well, I wouldn't say simple because I still have issues. But I hope if they do one, they do include the AX tracks as well, though,
Oh, yeah,
just
they have
on the
to.
cart.
Yeah.
With I believe it came with extra like cars too and everything.
That's
Take
cool.
your memory card to the arcade and you can link to the upcoming F-Zero AX arcade game to race your custom machine, earn new parts, and unlock bonus features. So yeah,
Neat.
but yeah,
Nice.
And one day I'm gonna try to buckle down and beat it because it's like that's the best part, isn't it? Isn't the main story
it's
like
so
10
rewarding.
tracks? It's like not even long, right? It's just impossibly hard.
Yeah, I feel like you could do it, Craig. I believe in
hmm
you.
Did you try it, Zach? Have you played it at all?
I've not played GX. I've played, I think, pretty much. I played SNES, the Game Boy Advance ones. I played F-Zero X, and then I played F-Zero
Mm-hmm.
99. I've not played GX.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the one hole there for me. But
All right. I think it's time for my number three. This one might be on your guys' list. I'd be surprised if it's not on at least one of your guys'. Number three, the best game in the series, Animal Crossing. So, Animal Crossing, obviously a GameCube classic. It was an N64 game first, but we didn't get that in North America. We got this bad boy. Um, it's so funny because even as a kid, it's like I knew that it was like not like other games because there's not really an objective. You're not told what to do. You do whatever you want. It's just a very chill, vibey game, and who doesn't love that? Obviously, cozy games are all the rage now. We talked about this quite a bit when we did our retro cozy games because this is like the retro cozy game for many people, including me. I think it's still the best game of the series. I like New Horizons, but I think Animal Crossing is more enjoyable when you have less control. I like moving to a town and you get what you get the neighbors you get, and you just kind of live with it. I like the limitations of not really being in control, and you kind of just you move to this new town and it's the life that you chose, and you work with what you got, and I kind of think that's fun and interesting. Obviously, the dialogue was very different back then. A lot of the villagers were a lot meaner, which was funny. A lot
heck
more
yeah.
interesting, tasty dialogue back then that I liked. Um, a lot of the stuff is more tedious, but almost charming tedious. You dig up your fossils, you have to mail them away. You can't just get them inspected, so you got to wait the next
three a
day.
day,
Exactly, and then you have
not
to
even all five of them.
exactly. So then you have to hope that you got something really cool, or that you didn't get a double after waiting a whole day. And I don't know, it's just the most comforting game out there in my opinion. Super cute art style. I remember when I was a kid, I had a whole 2 rooms full of just gyroids. I loved collecting as many gyroids as possible, and I remember they used to scare my little sister, which was kind of funny. She thought they were creepy. So
Yeah.
just, of course, as a jerk brother, encouraged me to collect them even more and fill my house with as many as possible. But I have such an affinity for the original Animal Crossing. I love them all, but this is the one that I always go back to the most, and definitely has the most special place in my heart. So.
You mentioned jerk brother. What I would do to my sister was I would, when she was not there, I would go into her file, not save it, and have Rossetti show up and not give her any explanation what was happening. So whenever she would get on, Rossetti would show up and like reprimand her for not saving and just yell at her. And I'd be
That's
like, I
awesome.
don't know who that guy is. I've never seen him before. Um, but
That is an excellent jerk brother move. I love that.
yeah.
That's really fun.
Craig, I hate to say it. This was the one I felt bad about. This is like my number six. Um,
Oh,
I
Didn't
love
make the
Animal
cut. I'm
Hey,
Crossing.
this is my
surprised.
number three.
It was.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was number three. Nice.
Nice.
Oh no, I thought that's
Oh,
what you were gonna say.
Oh.
oh no, no,
Because
no.
we're going
Sorry. No,
backwards on your list.
no. This one, I truly felt bad about not putting this on my list. It was so close. I went back and forth between this and SSX Tricky. But I decided to do SSX. But I do love this game. I'm still. I have it out because I was playing it somewhat regularly. I haven't played it in like a month or so, but I still pop it in and play for 15 minutes when I feel like it every now and then. Because it is just it is such a good cozy game, relaxing game. Just pop in there, collect your fossils. It's like the equivalent of like doing your dailies in a mobile game, but like
Yeah.
on a GameCube.
Yeah, you go sell all the fruit for the day, you fish a little, you get your fossils, and
Yeah.
and then you just wait for tomorrow.
Exactly. It's such a fun game. The games I feel like there's a lot more character with the NPCs, kind of like you mentioned, Craig, with the way they talk to you. It's also fun going back to this and seeing just how many of the unique NPCs were in the original game that have made it all the way to New
Yes.
Horizons. Like a lot of them were in there from the beginning. I remember who's the giraffe lady? I can't think of her name. She has like a
can't
red
remember.
car, and you
I
like
know who you're
wax
talking
her
about,
car
yeah.
for her. Yeah, just a lot of cool memories in this game. I'm kind of upset that I had to leave off my list, but
And I liked the the fact that, if you were in a one GameCube household, you had to share the town with everybody else. So it's like
Yeah.
I shared the town with both my sisters, and it's like I almost miss that. I almost wish there was like an online version for New Horizons where you could have like a shared town across switches with other people if you wanted to.
I hope that's a feature in the next game. Like if you could have a
Like collaborative town.
maybe you can have like a neighborhood that's yours, and then you have like a friends list town where you really interact with your friends and like actually go feel like a town or a city.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
It seems like a logical step forward for them. But
Tyler, any thoughts on Animal Crossing you'd like to share?
Never played it.
oh yeah, this is
Mentioned
what
that
he bought it
before.
from the person. He bought it from the
Yeah.
garage sale.
The garage
Yeah.
sale, passed away brother, stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Which is
One
still
day
the
I'll fire
craziest
it up.
story.
Go
I
around.
don't. Was that on the Retro Cozy Games episode that you told that story? Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone's curious, you should go back and listen to that. That was a very interesting tale Tyler had. So,
Yep. Good old
All right.
garage sailing.
Zach, I believe it's time for your number 4
Something.
because you've been
Yes, I
skipping
think
around,
my
right?
number 4. Yeah, mine's kind of weird. So my number 4 is a game that it gets a lot of flack these days. I never turned my back on this game. Game's always been incredible, and I'll never not say it's incredible. That's Super Mario Sunshine. I love Super Mario Sunshine because I just love 3D platformers and Mario specifically. This game just has that like what's it? I just drew a blank. The village, Delfino
Delfino?
Isle.
Yes.
Yeah, Delfino, Isle Delfino. The music there and just like running around Isle Delfino. If that was just the game, I would
It's
still
such a
love
vibe,
just doing
yeah.
that. Just Isle Delfino itself puts it on the list for me. Exactly. And then getting the when you get far enough, you can get the rocket nozzle or the jet nozzle, the one that makes you run fast horizontally. And I would
Yeah.
just go around the outside of Isle Delfino and just jump around and just waste time.
That's awesome.
I like the 3D Mario games that have like a hub. So like Mario 64 is the castle. This is Isle Delfino. Mario Galaxy 1 has the
Observatory.
ship. Yeah. So I like having the hubs and just running around the hubs. But the levels in this game are fun, in my opinion, as well. Mainly, the early ones I think are better. Bianco Village, I think it's called. Rico Harbor is a favorite of mine. I love Rico Harbor. Some of the later ones I don't love as much, like the village where you have to get on top of the giant Shine Sprite tower, and it's just full of like the lava everywhere. I don't like that place as much. But some of the earlier levels in this game are really nostalgic for me, and I love going back to them, and replaying it. I like looking for the blue coins. Having little hidden things in the levels is a fun change of pace for me, to where it's not just go after the Shine Sprite. You can actually, if you explore, you'll get something worth finding. But yeah, And then the flood mechanic, I think, is great. I like the flood
Hmm.
mechanic. I think it adds to the platforming most of the time. And then when it takes it away from you, it's just a good way to mix it up. Good, solid Mario platforming to
Oh
break
yeah,
at the pace a little bit.
yeah. It is unfortunately not on my list. I'm not so much a Sunshine hater as much as it's just not my favorite. I will
Yep.
say the best time I had with it was when I played a ROM hack called Super Mario Sunburn. Have you ever heard of this?
I have not. That sounds hilarious.
So it's kind of just like the only change that I'm aware of is they made it so that you don't have to get all the shine sprites in order, so you could do them in any order you want, and I like that option a little bit more,
That is a weakness of the game that you have to do them in an
because yeah,
order.
I did not like that about it when I played it originally, but I've still never finished even that ROM hack, so one day I'll probably just buckle down and play the 3D All Stars version on the Switch because even though it's not my favorite game from what I've played, I still feel like it's kind of like a hole missing in my GameCube knowledge slash just like Mario knowledge as a big Mario fan as well.
Yeah, and there are criticisms to be had with like the fact that you like you mentioned you do have to play the levels in an order and you have to play. I think you like in Mario 64. I think we've mentioned if you find a level you don't like, you can just kind of skip it
Yeah,
because the
you can't do
requirement
that in
is a number of.
Sunshine.
Yeah, in Sunshine, the requirement isn't necessarily a number of stars. It's beating like the seventh level of each world. Um, so that forces you to play a lot or most of the
The
worlds that you
game.
don't like,
Hmm.
which is not necessarily a um, the best decision in my mind. But I guess it wants you to do the Dark Mario interactions as part of the
Hmm.
story. But I still like the game, so I get over that part. But
Hmm. Tyler, any thoughts
Super
on
Mario
Super Mario Sunshine?
Sunshine was almost on my list, but didn't quite make the cut. It's actually this the other game. How I said I bought a GameCube game before my GameCube, played it at a neighbor's house. Super Mario Sunshine was actually the other one for that.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, pretty much had a good, like you guys said. I mean, had a lot. I can't speak today. Had a lot of fun with it. Uh, like Zach said, the Isle Delfino always had a thing for like those nice little tropical island settings, all that. The music
yep.
was great, all of it, and yeah, it was nice seeing the little. Oh my, why am I drawing a blank? What's the people called from there? The Pintas or whatever?
Piantas.
Uh, yeah, seeing them in the Thousand Year Door when we were
Oh
playing
yeah,
through
that was
that.
funny.
That
Yeah,
was
that and
funny,
the
and then
Shine sprites. I thought that was funny that like I
yeah,
guess because that game came out in that era. I didn't even think about that, but
yeah, had the
Hmm.
like
little
how many games
moss and
have
everything.
Shine sprites been in?
I think
Like
those are the only
Sunshine.
two.
I
Yeah.
wonder if it like showed up in a Mario Party. Well, are they in any of the GameCube Mario parties? Or are they just still all stars?
I'm pretty sure they're just all stars. I don't remember them being in them,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
Tomorrow Sunshine was a great game. I like, I kind of get the flack it gets, but to me, it's still a great Mario game.
hmm
He
it
goes
has
to
So
like the
jail.
tightest
He's
controls
wrongfully.
ever,
Yeah.
which is
yeah,
really cool. So it feels so compact every movement, and I really do like the way that it feels.
Yep.
Tyler, I don't know what number game is next for you, but whatever is next,
we
I've
did
lost
five,
my
we did
place.
four, we did three. Number two.
Number two,
Oh yeah,
baby.
we got two games left in this stack. Number two, we're bringing out the big guns, which I'm kind of surprised Zach never mentioned it unless this is his last game. Fire Emblem Path of
Mm.
Radiance. Zach, is it your last game that you have?
Yes.
So that's your
Yeah.
number. That's your number 9, right?
Number
Or what?
three.
Number 3. Wait,
This is
hold on.
number
So
nine.
What's
this
the
is
number?
Zach's number 3. This is Tyler's number 2, right? Sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So I have to do
Correct.
math as I add up points.
Fire Emblem games always had a great time with them. Started the series with Awakening, and I remember I had this one for a bit, and Craig is actually the one that got me to go and play this one because he was like, it's a great game, great aesthetic, love it all. And then I remember I sat down in front of my CRT, I put it in, and I sent him a photo. I was like, "Look what I'm playing." He was like, "Yes, let's go." Great game. Love all the Fire Emblems. All the Fire Emblems are great. Except kind of how we mentioned before with Shadow Dragon, but uh, I don't know. Ike, great character.
We like
Uh,
Ike. We like
yeah,
Ike.
Ike, me like Ike. Just love me some tactical RPGs. Fun to just sit down, enjoy, and I mean, I don't know. It's a great game.
I love like
Zach,
the
would you like to go?
lore. Sure, yeah. Just real quick, I love the lore of this game connected with
Yeah,
Radiant Dawn, and
I
how it's
still
like
gotta
the
play Radiant
story.
though. So
Oh, so Radiant Dawn has a lot of cool like callbacks and like connections back to Path of Radiance. Um, yeah, it's a solid Fire Emblem game gameplay wise. I really like the story and characters. Ike's one of my favorites. I mained Ike in Smash Brothers Brawl specifically because of Radiant Dawn. Oh, sorry, Path of Radiance. Um, but yeah, this is a game I loved a lot as a kid. I lost it for a good portion of my life. And I thought it was gone. I
remember you
couldn't
told me
find
this.
it. I didn't know where it was. And then randomly, a couple years ago, I got a package in the mail from a friend of mine, and I opened it up, and he sent me this from several states away in a bubble mailer. Apparently, I loaned it to him in like eighth grade, and just like forgot about it.
That's
And he
awesome.
heard me mention it on a stream that I lost it, and didn't tell me, didn't contact me, didn't say I'm sending it. He just mailed it to me, and I just get a bubble mailer with a $300 GameCube game in it, and it made the trip okay, but I was scared when I opened it.
You're like,
Um,
whoa.
yeah, it was the best day ever, just randomly getting Path of Radiance in the mail. But yeah, I love this game. Number three for me.
All right. My number one was Fire Emblem Path of
Let's
Radiance.
go.
This is my favorite GameCube game. This is my fourth favorite video game of all time, actually. I absolutely adore this game. It is my favorite Fire Emblem for sure, which makes me very sad that I haven't played Radiant Dawn, because I know I'll love it as it's the sequel to one of my favorite games ever. I just haven't gotten around to it
Zach's
yet.
like, what is wrong with
I
you
know, I
Neither
guys?
of you
need
have played
to.
Radiant Dawn. So Radiant Dawn was my favorite Fire Emblem until Three Houses, but Radiant
Really?
Dawn
Okay.
was I love
Oh,
Radiant Dawn even more than I love Path of Radiance.
Wow. Yeah, so this is
Yeah.
my favorite GameCube game. This is my favorite Fire Emblem, one of my favorite games ever. Just everything about this game is fantastic. I love the story. I love the characters. The first home console Fire Emblem we got in the States, which is really cool. This game sold like ass, which is why it's kind of a lower print GameCube game. Not rare, but definitely more on the uncommon side. But it is just so good. Also, very tough, honestly. I thought it was a very hard game. There was a couple of maps. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the name of the map. The Feral Frontier, if you guys remember, which is like the desert map where all of your characters lose like half of their movement except for the Lagoos and the
Yeah.
and your Pegasus Knights. Absolutely brutal. And there's just a lot of really cool, memorable maps in this game, including that one. I can't remember the name, but there's like a 4-part map too, where it's like your team gets split into 4, and it's like a chapter, like chapter part 1, part 2, part 3, 4. It's really cool. And
Serenus
then,
Forest.
is that what it is?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Serenus Forest, because
Yes.
there's like the big like Fire Emblem database is called Serenus Forest. It's like has all
Yes,
the-
yes, you're right.
Yep. Yep.
Which is really cool. So yeah, I love everything about this game. Fantastic soundtrack. Really cool characters. Soren, obviously the GOAT, one of the coolest mages in all of Fire Emblem. I lost him early on and regretted that as I kept playing the game. Same with Mist, because if you don't have Mist, when you have to fight the Black Knight one-on-one, it's basically impossible, and you just have to hope you can make it. You have to hope you can make it to 6 turns, like I did. I remember just over and over again trying to move myself different ways a couple of times because I kept failing, and that's even worse because that's the second part of the mission, and you have to do the whole first part if you die against the Black Knight. And
Oh,
absolutely
man.
brutal. This game is so punishing. No grinding whatsoever. You cannot grind in this game. You just have to hope that your level ups are good enough to map before. I will say, one of my favorite little details about this game that I've never seen a lot of other people talk about, so I'm not sure how well known it is. So do you guys remember the Dragon Rider Jill?
Yep.
One of the
Red
coolest
hair,
characters in the
red
game. I love
ponytail.
her.
Yeah.
Yes, so you get her. Obviously, she's the daughter of one of the commanders of like the enemy side. I can't remember the exact names off the top of my head, but there is a map, like super late game, like probably like one of the late 20 chapters, where you have to face off her father again. And if you have her and you get her all the way to her dad, there's an option to have her speak to him. And if they speak, she will betray you and go back to their side. And I thought that was one of the coolest details ever, because I discovered that on my own. I didn't look it up. I was just like, I have to try this to see. I was like, this game is smart enough to give me a unique interaction, right? And it was. And it was so worth it until I had to fucking restart the map, because I was like, I'm not losing Jill. She's too powerful. But I don't know, like, is that a well-known, like, fun fact about that game, Zach? I feel like that's kind of a low-key thing, because I remember I didn't see a lot of other people mention it, like, when I was looking up stuff about this game.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Because I
say
thought that was
well
so
known,
cool.
but like if for like the Fire Emblem like nerds that have like played all the game 30 times, I'm sure it's
Yeah.
well known amongst those freaks.
Hmm.
But yeah, as far as like a general fact, I think that's a no, not well known.
Which is, I don't know, I just that stuck. That's one of those moments, when you play a game and something really sticks with you. That really stuck with me because I was like, they really did think about it, and I just thought that was so cool. But yeah, tough as nails in my opinion. But I think it's the best Fire Emblem game. Some of the map design is really shitty. In terms of like, it just feels unfairly difficult sometimes on your end compared to how the enemies are able to stack up against you. But if I were to recommend any Fire Emblem to anybody to play, it'd probably be Awakening, but this is my favorite one. So I had the most fun and the fondest memories playing Path of Radiance opposed to any other Fire Emblem, and I really want to replay it now that I'm talking about it because I haven't played it since I beat it like probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, I was
That
about to say
would
we gotta do like
be
a Fire Emblem episode, dude.
yes. We should definitely do a Path of Radiance episode. It'll get 10 views, and I won't care because it'll be so fun to just go gush on and on about this game. But yeah, I really need to play a Radiant Dawn because it's the sequel to my fourth favorite game of all time. So
Yep.
I'm really missing out there.
Craig, you reminded me of something I forgot to mention when I was talking about it. You mentioned the Lagoos.
Yes.
I think that whole mechanic is really cool. They haven't really done. They've kind of like played around with Lagoos like things and like fates and stuff. But I think the Lagoos mechanic is a really cool gameplay feature where they switch back to human mode and they have the really strong animal mode. And they switch back to the human
Really
mode.
weak human mode.
But it also has a pretty interesting story implication. It's basically like because this is a Nintendo game. It's got a younger audience. It's basically like showing growth of like characters experiencing racism.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's crazy.
some of the characters like hate the Lagoos because they're the Lagoos.
Yeah.
And it's like and then like there's characters like Ike like, hey, why do we hate them? They're not bad. They're people just like us. And then some people
The
like no, I
MLK
hate
of
them.
Fire Emblem.
And yeah, and then Soren, I think Soren's pretty harsh at the beginning, but he grows
Yes.
to so it shows some cool growth in like a real world like I wouldn't say real world lesson, but like a darker, more serious subject than you expect to have in a Nintendo game. Which it's just a neat little thing to have in there.
Yeah, it's such a good story. I remember I really liked the story. I'm a little spotty since it's been a few years now, but yeah, we need to just plan out doing an episode on this now because I want to have an excuse to replay it. So, and I would also like to shout out my girl Mia. She's like one of the worst units in the game, but I just always really thought her purple hair was fun. So shout out to Mia.
Yep. Yep.
And shout out to I believe it's pronounced Titania. Is that how you say it?
Titania.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
One
an
of those broken
absolute
characters
powerhouse.
ever.
Yeah, I
She's
know.
broken.
And it's like it's almost like a trick because it's like if you use her like to power through everything, then all your other characters end up being under leveled because you used her to plow through everybody more easily.
It's a funny thing in like a lot of Fire Emblems with the early game character. They call him the Jagan because the first one of these was Jagan. They're like super overpowered, and it's like you don't want to use them because then your other characters don't level up. But then in some of the games like Path of Radiance and then Sacred Stones, there's a really bad offender of this. The early character that's overpowered can just beat the game for you anyway. You can just use Titania the whole game, and it doesn't matter.
That's fair. She pretty much stays beefy, so
Yeah, she's really good. Yeah, a lot of good characters in this game. So many good characters.
yeah. So, God, what a good game. So yes, definitely my number one. Zach, do you have any other games left, or have we gone through all yours now?
I've got honorable mentions, but I'll mention them after we get through whatever we have left.
Okay.
Oh, we
cool.
went through all 5 of yours?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, 'cause
A lot of
I think I
crossover
brought up one of my games, and then no, two of my games, and, then
and everything else.
They were like, oh yeah, this. Oh, that's on my list too.
Yeah.
Tyler, you have is it your number one that's left?
Yep, my number one.
Your number one. What do you got for us?
So my number one, probably gonna get some flack on Craig from what we were talking about before we started recording, but I don't care. And my number one, if you know me well, you should kind of expect it. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Okay.
It's not Coliseum, it's XD. So XD was the first one I played. It was really cool having like a whole console experience Pokemon game, and it was kind of neat how they did it with the Shadow Pokemon. If you don't know, you can only catch Shadow Pokemon in the game from the enemies and stuff like that. So it kind of like played around on like what Pokemon you use for your team, because like you wouldn't normally be like, I'm gonna use this Carvana unless you like Carvana, but for example, Carvana in this, yeah, that Gen 3 in it.
Thinking of the app
So
to buy cars now, like the Carvana phone app. Sorry.
you're good. You're good. Or like Wurmple or something like
Right.
that. No one's gonna leave that for like the whole game, but I mean, you can have it. Uh, Lugia, one of my favorite legendary Pokemon. Just having the Shadow version of him is cool. You
So
can like
cool.
purify him and send him over to your game, but I wasn't doing that. He looks too badass as a Shadow Pokemon, so he stayed a Shadow forever. I got a little Shadow Lugia plush actually, like over there, hanging. You can't really see it,
Nah, it's not
but
gonna be in the
yeah,
shot.
it won't be in
Sorry.
the shop. Oh well, I'll show it off sometime. But have him on my shoulder or something.
There you go.
But yeah, just love the whole story of this game. It was cool. Uh, you in this one and Coliseum, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, but like Gen 4 wasn't out yet, but they got you like little slip bits of the Pokemon in Gen 4. This one had Bonsly, and I think Coliseum
Oh,
had
Oh,
Munchlax, if I
nice.
was
Yeah.
right.
that's cool. I didn't know
And
that.
yeah, like you see him like rumbling around and stuff, and eventually I think you get him. And Bonsly is like one of my favorite like baby type Pokemon. I just really like the design of him and everything, so it was cool seeing him in this. Um, yeah, I mean I still gotta do like the post game stuff. I never actually did that where you gotta do like 300 battles in a row or something like that. I think that's in here too. I know it's in Coliseum, but I think there's
My
something like that
God.
in this as well.
No, thank
Yeah,
you.
I know in Coliseum if you do it, you get a Ho-Oh. And I'm like, I got
Yep.
plenty of those from Pokemon Go and stuff, so I'm good. This one I'm not entirely sure, but I love it. It's a great Pokemon game. I hope we get like another one. I mean, we're getting like home console Pokemon games now, but just having like something different.
Different
You know,
style.
like
Yeah.
it's nice having the same thing. Legends was a great mix up, but something like this would be cool to get again.
I know Coliseum's like this. Is XD Gale Darkness also forced double battles the whole game? I
I
don't remember.
believe so.
So I always
Wait,
remember that being a cool mix up when I played Coliseum at least, like double battles being a focus was a cool mix up. But I can't remember if XD's the same or
wow,
not.
I'm actually drawing a hard blank on it. I think
I
it
feel
would
like it
be.
is. I feel like it is.
Mhm.
But
It's my number
I'm
one, and I don't even know.
I'm curious. Is it as slow as Coliseum? Because I've played Coliseum, and the reason I dropped it was because I felt like the battles were so excruciatingly slow that I just couldn't stand it. I thought I was gonna lose my fucking mind at some point while I waited. It's like I'd play for half an hour and I'd get through like two battles. It felt like it was just so, so slow. But like I liked everything else about the game. I just felt like the battle, like the animations, everything. You couldn't skip anything, which is fine. But everything just felt like it was moving in slow mo in the battles, and it made it feel like it was dragging on a bit for me personally.
I get that.
Is
So,
XD pretty similar in terms of his pacing?
it kind of. I feel like
Just
there's
curious.
probably a little more battle variation in it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the answer, Zach, the majority of the battles are double battles, similar to Coliseum. However, the first two battles in the game against Nobin and Naps are single battles, as are all wild battles and one optional battle against a super trainer at
okay.
the entrance to the Pokemon HQ lab. So mainly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they is XD a sequel, like story wise, or no?
I think they do like they like mentions a little bit, but that's about it.
Hmm. Yeah,
Something
Shadow
like too
Lugia is
crazy.
also one of the coolest looking things ever. So
And
I
at
was
the end of the
upset
game, it
when
was
oh,
good.
go ahead. I was just saying I was upset when I realized I couldn't get Shadow Lugia in my game. I could only get purified regular Lugia.
I know.
Um,
I was like, I don't want to purify him. It was like, and when it pops up after the match, it's like, oh, you can purify him now. His heart's open. Or whatever. I was like, nah, screw that.
like I'm
I'm
good.
staying
no.
evil forever, man.
Hard
But it was
pass.
cool. Like right at the end of the game, how you like, oh, you go against a Shadow Moltres. Oh, a Shadow Zapdos. Oh, Shadow Articuno. Bam, Lugia. Like I don't know. That was always great.
That's fun. One of
It's
my
a fun
most
game.
wanted Pokemon cards is they've released only a jumbo card. Like you know how they have those oversized cards sometimes in like the box sets. They did that for Shadow Lugia, so that exists, but it seems to be very
I
hard to
did put
find.
Pokemon XD on it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking. I've seen it before. I don't know it.
Yeah, it's like a jumbo card for Dark Lugia. So that's a Pokemon card I'd love to have one day. I have
Yeah, what
right
does that
next to
go
me
for?
a regular Lugia jumbo card.
Oh,
Because
nice.
Snap.
yeah, because I've been organizing my Pokemon cards, so I have a giant mess next to me. But I'm actually super into these jumbo cards. I found out you could get binders for them, so now I want to start collecting the most useless thing in the world, which is jumbo Pokemon cards.
I love just inherently us being, who we are, that we have just random nonsense always within arm's length of ourselves. Just like, oh
Pretty
yes,
much.
I do have this random object right here. It fits
Yeah,
into the
drink
conversation
Prime.
nicely.
WrestleMania.
Oh gosh.
Of course, I have the Kirby stackable set where you can
Yeah,
stack
yeah,
Kirby's in
exactly.
any formation you'd like in hand's reach. Why
Of
wouldn't
course I have Infinite over here.
TJ? There you go. All right, I guess it's time for my number 2, which I'm surprised nobody else had. The Wind Waker. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. My favorite Zelda game. Obviously also has an improved version on the Wii U, but I don't really care. I will still play the GameCube version any day of the week. Because, even without the quality of life improvements the Wii U version provided, I still absolutely love this version of the game. Happy to say, this is still my childhood copy. I've somehow been able to hold on to it all these years later, and it's just very, very precious game to me. I think that it's the most fun Zelda game. I love the open world sea. I love the sense of discovery of coming across a random island or random bandits and stuff. There's tons of very memorable boss fights in the game. Obviously has one of the best art styles, very good soundtrack. I like a lot of the NPCs are really fun in this game, like Medley, and I'm forgetting his name, but the little Koraki kind of guy. I can't remember off the top of my head. But there's just a lot of really fun characters in this game. The humor in it is very good. I love how full of expression Link is. Very, very funny. And, I don't know, just a fantastic Zelda game, the best in my opinion. Obviously, the Triforce Hunt could be a bit of a pain in the butt, but once you know how to grind out rupees pretty well, it's not too bad. So, want to give a shout out to the best Zelda game, The Wind Waker.
Some of my honorable mentions.
There you go.
I wanted to talk. I wanted to include it. I just didn't feel right. All these other games are games I've played and replayed. I've only played Wind Waker one time, 20 years ago, probably now. I've been wanting to find an opportunity to replay it, but I have not done that. I do love the game. I just didn't feel right putting it over some of the other games that I've played so many times. But it deserves all the flowers it gets.
Yes, it does, definitely. Tyler,
Tell
Wind
you
Waker
one
thoughts?
thing. It would be great if Nintendo would finally release Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Switch, but mainly Wind Waker, because if they release it on the Switch, then I could play it for the first time ever.
Ever?
I do
jerk.
think
It's
it's
another
weird
Zelda
that
game I never played.
I do think it's weird that those two games specifically aren't on the Switch when basically every other Zelda game, other than some of the DS ones, obviously, but basically every other Zelda game in some fashion is on the Switch.
Yeah,
Feels weird.
Yet. God, Wind Waker's just so good.
we'll be
You
getting it
definitely
before
need to
the Switch
experience
too.
it. I
Yeah,
got
you're
it.
probably gonna hold me accountable by having another game episode.
Of course we are. Gonna
Heck
make you
yeah.
play another Zelda game, and then you're gonna try to 100% it and realize that you don't have enough time, and then you're gonna have to rush at
Yep.
the end. So that was fun.
At least I beat the game.
All right. Well, since you mentioned honorable mentions, Zach, why don't you go ahead and tell us some of your honorable mentions you have for us?
So yeah, Wind Waker was one of them. Animal Crossing was the other one. This other one is one of my favorite multiplayer games, and the reason I associate this with multiplayer is because y'all mentioned Smash Melee. My friends weren't as into Smash when I was a kid, and they weren't as good at Smash, so it was like not as fun to play multiplayer. But one game we were all real good at, we liked playing a lot,
Mario
was
Golf.
Mario
Well,
Superstar Baseball. This
Took a shot.
game is awesome. I love Mario Baseball. I have lots of memories playing this with my friends. Basically, so baseball inherently, there's 9 positions, so you have to fill out a whole team of 9. So there's a lot of characters. So there's like options. With like strikers, it's bad. It's like a team lead and then like the sub players. But with this game, you get 9 full actual characters for your team. So yeah, it's got some fun mini games, but I always like just picking the wackiest stage and using all the wacky power ups and playing with friends. Got a lot of good memories with that.
Nice.
Nice. I never really played that one as much, but I played the Super Sluggers version.
Yeah, that
Always loved the
also a good game.
Yeah, always loved the whole huge roster. Playing as a blooper, that was
Yep.
great. But,
Yep. Yep.
Tyler, you have any honorable mentions you'd like to throw out there?
well, the one was Smash, and uh, I said one other earlier. I don't remember what it was, but those were all I had.
All right. Well, I have a few I can think of off the top of my head. I would like to give a shout out to Naruto Clash of Ninja and Clash of Ninja 2.
Dude, those
Absolutely
games
loved
were
those games as a
great.
kid. I love the Naruto Clash of Ninja games. They're super fun. I was a massive Naruto fan as a child. I was super into
Were
the
you
card
running
game
around
too.
like this?
I was that kid in like fifth grade. It was beautiful. I remember the first episode I ever watched on Toonami back in the day was the Rock Lee and Gara fight, and I was hooked right from there. Absolutely adored it. I would like to give a shout out to Skies of Arcadia, excellent JRPG that I've never finished. I think once I'm
We
done with
gotta
it,
do an episode.
I know. I think it'll be a top 5 for me once I finish it, but it doesn't feel right since I haven't finished it. Same with Gotcha Force. I love that game. Never beat it. Famously rare-ish, not that rare, but lower print GameCube game, but very expensive. But also super duper fun. And of course, the Mario parties, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, and Mario Kart Double Dash, all fantastic multiplayer games. So, want to throw those ones a little bit of love as well. Surprised no one had Mario
Well,
Party in here or Double Dash, but there's just so many good
Double
GameCube
Dash was
games.
good.
So
Mario
many good
Party
Little,
7 with
little,
the mic.
Yes.
little fun fact for you guys: Skies of Arcadia Legends. Way before this podcast was even made, me and Craig were gonna do like a book club game thing, and that was gonna be one of ours that we had like the first
That's
one.
true. We talked about that like 2 years ago, so that's almost like the
Yeah.
progenitor to this, which is kind of fun. So one day we will fulfill that and make it happen because that's a game we would all definitely enjoy. And well, we're all big old nerds that like those kinds of games. So, and usually Sega and RPGs, good combo. So it's gonna be a fantastic time once we all played through it. I think though it's finally time for us to get into some listener inquiries before we go over the top GameCube games of all time. So,
Who?
first up, we have Mr. Dan Evil Robot. He wrote in. He said, "My favorite GameCube game is Star Wars Rogue, or my favorite GameCube games are Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2, Super Monkey Ball, Mario Party 7, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, F-Zero GX, Star Fox Assault, Luigi's Mansion, Mario Power Tennis, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Super Mario Strikers, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Metroid Prime, and finally Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door." And I was just thinking, looking at this right now, I'm like, wow, I am surprised none of us mentioned Monkey Ball or Metroid
I was just
Prime.
thinking that.
I don't know. Somehow totally slipped my mind, but yeah, shout out to the Monkey Ball games as well. Absolutely fantastic, and Prime, of course. But
Yeah, Metroid Prime.
I've also never finished Metroid Prime, so I need to finish that.
Yeah,
I didn't play it on
Metroid-
the Switch, but
I got the Switch one. I need to go and finish that one. I never touched the Prime series.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
back to what Dan said, Super Monkey Ball. I don't know how I didn't throw that in my honorable
Yeah.
mentions because that game is fantastic. I love those kinds of games.
Mhm.
Dude, anytime they release even some like $2 version game that's like Monkey Ball in the PSN store, I buy it and play through it just because I am a sucker for those kinds of games. But man, so
would
glad Banana
say-
Rumble was pretty fun.
I would say I'd played through them, but I've never been able to beat any of the classic Monkey Ball games because they're just so hard and I'm so bad at them.
Dude, I would
But-
try to like I tried to get the platinum on. I think it was like the Banana Blitz HD or whatever
For Vita?
they did.
Mhm.
No, the PS4 one, well, the
Oh,
Vita
yeah,
one
yeah.
too.
Mhm.
But like, you got to beat the whole game like without continuing, and I'm like, no.
Absolutely
In
bonkers.
the beginning, I could do, but like when it gets towards the end, no.
these games get so hard.
Yes, they're
But-
disgustingly difficult, but some of the best feeling controls in any game ever. Again, like Mario Sunshine, the tightest possible controls.
Ian, Craig, you mentioned it several episodes ago, but really fun speed running community. Watching Monkey Ball speed runs.
Yes, definitely. Super duper
So-
fun. He did mention Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. We obviously did a whole episode on that. We all liked it, but I guess we didn't like it enough because it didn't make any of our top 5. Dan, Evil Robot, continues saying, "I don't hate Super Mario Sunshine. It's not my favorite 3D Mario game. Along with Star Fox Adventures. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3, I don't like the game. The flying ship parts are really good, but add characters walking around shooting stuff is not very good. It's slow, and the only thing that was good was that it had the original Star Wars arcade games. There was 3 of them. Type in the code to get bonus games. What's the worst GameCube game, in my opinion? Batman Dark Tomorrow. I have heard that game is absolutely trash.
Yep, it's very bad.
Never played it, can't say.
It does come with a comic book,
expert.
which is kind of fun. So, shout out to that. All right, Bird Dog Gaming writes in, says Super Mario Strikers, Luigi's Mansion, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, Mario Kart Double Dash, Bomberman Generations, and Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Yeah, it's second time we've seen Mario Strikers mentioned as well. I've also heard that's a great game. I've just never gotten around to trying it out.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never got around to the Strikers games, but Bomberman Generations, great game.
Mm-hmm. Twilight Princess, I always think of as a Wii game because I got it for the Wii when I got my Wii for Christmas in 2006. So,
Yep.
remember the first time I saw GameCube footage and my brain was melting because it was in reverse compared to the Wii version, like how they mirrored it. It totally melted my brain. I couldn't comprehend it.
I think I played the GameCube version of Twilight Princess, not the Wii version.
Mm.
So I didn't have the weird flip screen that you had.
I had the afterthought version of Twilight Princess.
Yeah. Flip it.
You're like, oh shit, we need a Wii game stat.
Yeah.
And I've never played Bomberman Generations, but I've heard that's a fun one. I do believe that's a GameCube exclusive. So, and of course, all the Tony Hawk's games, great. American Wasteland, my personal favorite. John wrote in, he said, "Hey, what's up, guys? John here again. My top 5 GameCube games are Super Mario Sunshine, F-Zero GX, Metroid Prime, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. All great choices that we can agree with." Next up, Pat says, GameCube was a weird system as it got overshadowed by the PS2. Super Mario Sunshine, while not as good as 64, was still a lot of fun. The Resident Evil remake was great too. Also played tons of Super Monkey Ball. Can't believe none of us thought about the Resident Evil games. I feel like such a fool, because Resident Evil 4, of course, one of the greatest games of all time. Resident Evil remake considered the greatest remake of all time. And then, of course, 0, 2, and 3 are also on the GameCube. And Code Veronica, the GameCube is a Resident Evil machine, which is really cool. So
Resident Evil 4, famously only for GameCube.
Famously. He did say he would chop his own head off with a chainsaw if it got released anywhere else. He did not keep his
it's
word.
on everything. It's on your
Literally
iPhone now.
every console. It's like it might be the most ported game of all time if we were to count.
Possibly.
That and Sonic 2 and Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
All right. Jason says, "Hello guys, this is Jason once again, and I'm here to list my top 10 GameCube games." So he's given us double what we paid for. I'm here for it. Number 10, Ikaruga. Cool choice, niche game. GameCube exclusive back in the day, but there was a Dreamcast version, I believe, in Japan as well, but North American exclusive. Number 9, Killer 7, which is the better version since PlayStation version was censored. I did not know that, and that's kind of cool. Number 8, Resident Evil. Number 7, Soul Calibur 2. Another great game I forgot to shout out.
Soul Calibur 2 is
Number
great.
6, Metroid Prime. Number 5, Eternal Darkness. Another really cool game that I forgot to shout out, but I haven't finished it, sadly. Number 4, Paper Mario 1000 Year Door. Number 3, Twilight Princess. Number 2, Skies of Arcadia Legends. Number 1, Mega Man X Command Mission, which is a game I've always wanted to play. I think it's so cool that there's like a weird Mega Man X JRPG. So...
Man, going through all these, there's like so many we missed.
I know.
Speaking of honorable mention,
I mean, that's like it's funny, you know. We did the N64 game, and you know everyone kind of agrees for the most part. Like you could say, like a top 10 even. But with GameCube, there's so much more variety and so many more excellent games. The GameCube is just such a good console. It is truly the GOAT. Heck, oh no, there's one more piece to this write-in from Jason that says, "How come Capcom, who remade Resident Evil before remakes were a thing, knew how to properly remake a game all the way back in 2002, and yet Square Enix can't seem to know how to do a proper remake in this day and age?" Zach, do you have any thoughts? I'm sure that was specifically written in for you.
No, that hurts. I'm tired. We spent this whole podcast, and I was feeling good. We're at the finish line, and then I just got punched in the freaking gut. Just at the finish line.
Anything to
Um,
shit on Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you know what? As much as I love that game, I'm here for it, because every time it makes me laugh. And it breaks your heart. I see the sorrow in your eyes every time he does it.
yeah. Whatever, Jason. Go play Ikaruga or something.
Yeah, go play Yeah, that's not turn-based,
Yeah.
you cheater.
Is Ikaruga? Is it the shmup?
Yes.
The shmup. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shmup where you can either shoot black bullets or white bullets, and depending on which color you choose, you're vulnerable or invulnerable to the enemy ones. It's really cool.
The other
very,
color. Yeah.
Very good and very, very, very difficult, but most shoot 'em ups are. Hector wrote in, said, if I had to choose, my favorite GameCube games are Pokemon Coliseum, Smash Bros. Melee, and Super Mario Sunshine.
Hector, you say your favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Coliseum, then why didn't we finish playing it together alongside of each other? You just done and left me hanging for me to beat the game myself, and you just never played it again. So I want to know why that's on your top 3. Right in for the next episode. I want to know.
You know
Just
what?
saying.
I was going to ban Hector to make you feel better for being
No, ban
a
Jason.
jerk to you, but no, Jason's fine. I'm pretty sure we did ban Jason a few episodes, and then obviously I'm never going to follow through with the bans, but... Alright, No It's Brendan wrote in, said, my first submission, ATV Quad Power Racing 2. Made a lot of memories with this one. Lots of cool tracks and ATVs to unlock. I'm not laughing at you, Brendan, I promise.
I am
Brendan.
laughing at you.
Several game modes that were really fun. You could do tricks in the air while racing and build up a score. You could straight up kick people off their ATVs, which was badass. Just an all-around cool racing game. Not sure how much it has held up over the years, but I remember having a lot of fun with it back in the day. Also, the music was banging. I love how out of pocket and random this pick is. It just makes me very happy.
Yeah.
But he's kind of right. Some of those games were really good, and I don't know if it was that one specifically, but some of them had like these little obstacle courses you can go on with like ATVs, and those were fantastic.
Yeah, I remember there being a lot of really fun ATV games on the PS2. I couldn't tell you the names of them off the top of my head, but
I think they were all just Off-Road Fury. It was like Off-Road Fury, Off-Road Fury 2, Off-Road Fury. I think went to 4.
All right, and he had a second submission, which is Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. I don't think I ever actually beat this one because I seem to remember my disc being scratched and it would fail randomly. Or maybe I was just bad at the game and never finished it. But it's a really cool hack and slash beat 'em up, and I'm a sucker for anything Lord of the Rings. You could play as multiple characters, and it just kind of takes you through a lot of the major battles from the movie. Really good time. This game has a direct sequel for the third movie that I own but have not played yet. Same gameplay style and all that, so I'm sure it's fun. So shout out to Noah's Brendan for his totally out of pocket and random picks for favorite.
Hey, that's what we're here
games.
for, man.
I love it.
Some variety.
Exactly. We don't need
Wait
your
for somebody to
basic
come out
bitch
and be like, you know what,
Melee
my
and
favorite
Zelda.
GameCube game is Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix.
God, if
for
someone
that.
wrote that in, they definitely would be banned like for life writing in the show.
Yeah.
Cannot stand that game. It is so bad. It's not even funny. All right, let me go ahead and
I think it's
sort
pretty
our games so I can give us our definitive list. So we actually have 10 unique games, which is kind of fun. So we kind of have a top 10.
Oh, nice.
Let's see. The
I
bottom
think I know what number
4.
1 is.
So number 9 and 10 have a matching score, and then number 7 and 8 have a matching score. But that's okay. I'll just do it from bottom to top the way that it decided to list it once I sorted from biggest to smallest. So number 10 on the list. 10th best GameCube game of all time, Luigi's Mansion. The 9th best GameCube game of all time, SSX Tricky. The 8th is Mario Sunshine. The 7th, F-Zero GX. Number 6 is Animal Crossing. Number 5, The Wind Waker. 4, Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. 3, Melee. 2, Sonic Adventure 2. And number 1,
go.
Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Only on this show would Path of Radiance be rated the best GameCube game of all time. Because we are a bunch of weirdos. But I couldn't be happier because that's my number 1 pick. So I'm totally happy with it. How do we feel about the list, boys? Do we feel this represents us well?
I think it's correct.
Yeah. I mean, it's
honestly,
there's nothing we can do to change it. That's set in stone. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
Send it to the press.
I think that this is a very good list. I think we have a lot of good variety on here. Um, Probably the only top 10 GameCube games list to have SSX Tricky on it, which is also very fun. So,
That's why it's
shout
the
out to
correct
us.
game. It's the correct top
Exactly.
10.
Because we think outside of the box. We think of the real games out there.
I feel
Get out of here with your Baten Kaidos Origins. In
don't worry,
your
guys. Coming soon, Generations Behind merch, T-shirts with the top 10 GameCube games, all listed out, so you can wear it proudly at your game conventions, game hunting, out and about, dinner with your wife, girlfriend, family events, everything. So you can show everybody the true top 10 of GameCube gaming and what it is meant to be.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm going on a little mini vacation soon for my 1 year wedding anniversary, and I'll be sure to wear the Generations Behind Top 10 GameCube Games T-shirt out to dinner for that special occasion.
Let's go. I'm about to get them made as a gag and send them to you guys, and we gotta wear them on an episode.
Can it just be like a plain white T-shirt that says GB up top, and then it has it all in Comic Sans? I think that'd be perfect. That'd make for a good shirt. All right, boys. I think that about wraps it up.
Wow.
Zachary, do you have any closing thoughts for us?
Uh, this was fun going back through some GameCube memories. GameCube's one of my favorite consoles ever. One that I don't appreciate as much nowadays. I feel like it's like on the Switch, they got the N64, the SNES, the NES, but GameCube, I don't think about it as much as I used to, but it's fun reliving all these great games and talking about them.
Tyler, any closing thoughts on the GameCube?
Closing thoughts on the GameCube. Overall, it's a great system. Really, kind of sad that it like underperformed to what GameCube or what Nintendo thought, but to me, it had a lot of great games. And hearing all of you guys write in, seems like it was a perfect system to me. And I also want to say thank you guys. I know we're only at 10 episodes, but like 10 episodes feels like a pretty cool milestone. So thank you guys for watching, listening, and doing all your write-ins. It's really appreciated. And hope to do, well, at least 10 more. But we're going to 100 because 99 is Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah, we have to
What
commit.
Tyler said. It's really appreciate the write-ins, except for Jason. But yeah.
No, yes, yeah. Just to reiterate what Tyler said, we appreciate all you listening out there, participating. It means a lot to us. Obviously we're a small show, but we have a lot of fun. We're all three very busy dudes, and it gives us a solid 2 to 3 hours to just hang out and shoot the shit and talk about things we love with one another. So, thank you all for indulging in this, and we definitely want to keep doing this for as long as possible. So, shout out to episode 10. T-shirts on sale soon. Yeah, be sure to, of course, like, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your coworker. Zach, you have any new videos coming out soon? Anything going on the channel?
Yeah, actually, I've been tossing around what I want to do next because I've been trying to figure out the next video I want to do, and I thought this would be a good opportunity. I'm just going to make a GameCube video about these games we just talked about today. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, but I'm going to release it around the same time as this so we can try to co-market. I'll try to shout out the podcast in it. So,
Tyler,
Gotta plug it.
how's that new channel of yours coming that you're starting?
Hey, I mean, I got the list of where the first video wrote up. Just gotta add some things to it, and then it's actually just recording and editing and uploading. So
That's very exciting.
soon.
Very exciting. I'll probably have a new video up in the next week or so too. To everyone that watched my my Rare Player's Choice games, thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun to know that I could not upload a video for a very long time and people still come around and watch it when I do finally upload. So shout out to the Craig's Game Room Strong out there.
Any insight on what your next video is gonna be?
Yeah, it's gonna be another GameCube focused one, just because I don't know. I feel like when it comes to my my knowledge base of sharing information on collectibles, GameCube is definitely my strong suit because I've been collecting it and researching it for so long now. But I think I'm gonna do just a showcase of every North American big box game because I think that not everyone knows all the ones that are out there. So
that's cool.
And you have all of them. right?
I do have all of them. Some of them might not have the games inside, like Pokemon Box, but I have the big box to show off, so that's what the video's about, so it counts.
At least you
But
have
yes.
something in Pokemon box to show off. Hector calling you out. All right, you can
Hey, when he's a rich and famous wrestler, you'll get your copy. So,
make it
and
in
you
the
know what?
E.
Maybe Hector will be nice enough to buy us all a copy of Pokemon Box. I'm just kidding. But I appreciate you all for watching. Thank you all for joining us. I didn't even bring it up. Our next episode is going to be about our personal JRPG history, how we got into the games. So if you're a big JRPG fan, like some of you out there, I know listening are, be sure to write in with, what your first JRPG is, how you fell in love with the genre, all that. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to share your story on the next episode. So in a couple weeks from now, we'll be talking about that. Thank you all for joining us, and take care.
Adios. And I don't know how he does that.